And God, I thank you for today. Thank you for this conversation that we're going to have about our brothers and sisters from Kenya. God, we pray that you give us wisdom and you'll help us to navigate everything that we're going to be sharing here today. In your name, Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Yo, guys, so if you're joining me right now, please let me know where you're joining from. Let me know which country you're watching from. Let me know where you're from as well in the comment section. That would be amazing. Yes, Tanzan, she's already here. I know this is my sister from Kenya. I'm waiting for you guys. The time is up, so you guys can just come around and we can start having this conversation. Oh, I see Mariette. She says she's not gonna be here today, but I appreciate for always being there and for the love and support that you're showing to Swahili Nation. Guys, share this link out there and please let's have this conversation. It's very important. Tanzan, monitors waiting for you guys. You already have a link. I will share with you guys. So, just hit that link and join me and let's have this conversation. The rest of you guys, what you can do is please invite some people. Usually I don't know what this is what I can say as I'm waiting to hear from my brothers and sisters from Kenya. A lot of things happening during election and especially in Africa. And I know for our brothers and sisters in Kenya, they always have a tension of ethnic uh, issues, especially during election. Right, you cannot really see that some other time, but during election you can actually see clearly the tension that is going on between these you know big different ethnic groups that they have in Kenya. But today we're going to have that conversation. So if you guys don't understand the politics of Kenya and what's going on, well, this will be an amazing discussion to have. And I'll tell you why we're having this discussion. We're having this discussion because it's very important for young people like me and you to be involved, and especially during a time like this. It's very important for us to raise voice, and it's very important for us to talk to other youth across the continent and to just exchange ideas. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to learn. I don't know much about Kenya when it comes to election and a lot of stuff. But here in the family, we have people from that region, and they can help us out to actually know that. All right, I see our brother is already here. Mondatezi, what's up, man? Mondatezi, you are muted. Mondatezi, can you hear me? Mondatezi, you need to unmute yourself. You're still muted, so I cannot hear you. Guys, if you're joining right now, please let me know where you're joining from, and it's gonna be amazing. Yes, Mondatezi, finally unmute yourself. What's up, man?
How are you, man? I'm sorry, I was behind on the. I think I'm watching from the other stream from the YouTube, and I was behind, so I was still listening to you. Now I'm here. Find myself being
Ah.
called. Tanzan is on the. I hope Tanzan is joining us, right? Because she's
Yeah.
also
She
Kenyan.
has to join us. She has to join us. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. How are you, my brother?
yeah, I'm feeling good today. It was a very hot day in Kenya, actually. The whole country seems to be suffering from a heat wave, even in Nairobi and places that are normally cool.
Mm.
Seems to be a heat wave or something like that. I don't, we are blaming climate change, or maybe we should just be planting more trees. So there are
Mhm.
so many. That is also a political issue.
Yeah, I'm sure the same thing is happening here. In Tanzania, it's too hot, man. And today, like, it's been raining the whole day, but it's really hot. Like, where you see me here, I need to take some showers a lot of time. And my skin, I don't even use lotion, but you can see my skin how, it's like I'm
Shiny.
in the sauna. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel, my brother.
Yeah, yeah. At least it's raining in Tanzania. It hasn't. It's not raining in the Kenyan coast. Okay, let me keep it on the Kenyan coast. I don't know. I think we are. I think we are experiencing a drought that we're not aware of because We are,
mm,
it's a city, so you don't know, in a city you don't know if there's drought or there's not drought because you're not planting crops or stuff like that. But the people in the outskirts, I think they are.
mm,
So we might be experiencing a drought, the same drought that I think is plaguing Somalia actually right now. I think it is also having some
yeah,
sort of effect in Kenya. So I don't know. I don't know. We might have to investigate this thing where this issue of climate change in Africa. See
mm,
how is Africa getting affected because we're the ones who we least contribute to these gases, but it seems that we're
mm,
the ones who are getting whipped. So yeah, that's what
yeah.
I was curious.
Well, shout out to the members in the house, Tanzan and Sanuti. I see you, and I see Bilhan as well. I see you. Yes. So, Mwendatezi, when are you guys
Yeah.
gonna have election in Kenya? Specific date?
And elections are in the second Tuesday of August, but the campaigns are
August.
really heated. Yeah, second Tuesday of August. I don't know. I
Wow,
think
it's
Swahili
August.
Nation we should be having also our what is it? Is it the I don't know live
Yeah,
put
live
live
coverage.
live coverage of the results and the process and
I rely on you, Mwendatezi. We have you there, so you better get ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because it's a very, very. I don't know. I think all elections are starting to look like they are going to become unique. This is actually.
Yeah,
I don't know why every election there's always it always seems like it's a crossroads. Every elections. I think all over
yeah,
Africa. Because
yeah.
you don't. There is no. I think that's something we need to address also in Africa.
Mm,
That. We are we need a bit of stability when it comes to maybe leadership where but I think that's not true because Tanzania, you guys have stable, it's you have the same party, so you pretty much are there's stability when it comes to party politics. You know what this party stands for. But in Kenya we don't have that. Kenya, every elections these new parties are coming. Politicians who are in that party have hopped to another party, so it's a bit chaotic. So we find that you know
yeah.
some of these things that is affecting us.
So help us to understand something, Mwendatezi. For those who don't know anything about Kenya when it comes to this, I think you can help us to with the dynamics of our politics in Kenya, or like the whole process of election. Like you can just share with us so that those who do not understand may at least have an idea of what's really going on and why we are doing this.
Okay, yeah, okay. Let me start from the beginning. Let me start from maybe since independence because a lot of these things usually their roots even go as far as colonialism, you know. But let me start from independence. As we wait for Tanzan, because she's also a very opinionated lady, and she might give another contrast so that I can now start being very very opinionated myself. So what I was when we started in maybe in 1963, 1964, our first president was President Jomo Kenyatta, and as you can see, we had a sharp contrast to President Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, who was looking to unite the country and forget about this thing called tribes, right? Well, us, we went the opposite direction, and the first president of Kenya was all about tribe, man. He was all about tribal supremacy and stuff like that. So he really entrenched. I think he really entrenched these issues of tribal politics from day one. Day one, we started tribal politics, and he was he put people in his tribe on top positions. He even started displacing people. from his tribe and putting them in other regions, instead of. So there is already land issues that are deep in Kenya. That there is this feeling like in the coast actually, there are people. If you allow me, my brother Mika, are we going to be brutally honest, or you know, let me just be brutally honest, right? The president, the people in the coast here, they have historical land issues. Like it is very deep. So you find that these are the emotions that are triggered every 5 years. You find. So these, and the politicians, they know these emotions. They can get say like, hey, these people, they are not supposed to be here. They were brought here by this tribe because of this reason. And that I wish in the if the first president, I don't know, maybe in hindsight, if we saw the effects of what he did that time, I'm sure he might have changed and said, oh, they didn't know if this is going to be leading to tribalism, every election tribalism in Kenya. They probably would have taken the way of Julius Nyerere, where people forget their tribes. But because of that, even the political parties in Kenya now, because the day one, the political party was tribal. Now, even now, political parties are tribal. You find that this tribe, they are associated with this political party, and this other tribe, they associate with this other political party. You find. So that is how the politics of Kenya. So when we talk about now, fast forward maybe to 2007, where I think, let me go back to the 1990s, where we had a dictator in the name of President Daniel Arap Moi. He was he was not he was a dictator, and he was in power for more than, I don't know if it was 21 year 27, I don't, but he was in power for more than 20 years. And he really, at some point, he united Kenyans, in that Kenyans were united against him. You find that in the 2000, and as we fought for multi-party, in our fight for multi-party in the 1990s, you find that we had a lot of heroes in Kenya who fought for, because at that time we only had one party called KANU, and there was no other party allowed. Everybody, that was the party that was going to choose and he was the president of that. He was the leader of that party, and was the president. So as everybody in Kenya, we were united again towards multipartism in the 90s. We won. He agreed actually in 1997, we had our first 95 years 92 we had our first multi-party elections, and he won actually. And 10 years later, he won twice. Then because he had changed the constitution that now the president can only stay for 10 years, he left power in 2002. And now we had our first now new president, who was Moi Kibaki, where I don't know the percentage of votes he got, but he got the high. It was extreme. It was landslide. So now I don't now that's another problem now with the president. He was not a bad president. He was a good president, but now he also missed an opportunity to remove tribal politics from Kenya. So in 2000, after 5 years, is 2007. 2007, we had another election. He was now vying for his second term, and there was unfortunately claims of rigging, and this led to tribal violence in Kenya. Actually, it was a very bad time to be in. It was a very dangerous time to be in Kenya, because everybody was like asking for your tribe, and people were having like machetes, asking people their tribe. It was a very dangerous time, and people were really fighting. Then we went for peace in 2008, after peace talks, but the tribalism now there was deep because of all this violence. People have lost land, people have lost lives. So in total, we decided to go for a new constitution, and in 2010 we had a new constitution, and 2012 we had a whole new government that is now the current government, which is now finishing. It's after 10 years, it's now finishing. So people thought that in 2022, we will not, even me, including me, earlier this year, I didn't think we will have any violence. But in the last few weeks, I've had politicians, and these are not these are small politicians, but they are saying these things, and I was getting a bit angry that why are you taking us back to this level of tribalism that is primitive, that even we were talking about yesterday with my Somali brother, that this politics of tribalism is very primitive. But now they have started to stoke these fires, like saying things like this tribe cannot be in power. You know, when you these are very and then this election is not very eventful. You know, because I was feeling like this election has a lot of voter apathy, meaning a lot of youth aren't even registered to vote. They're not interested in this election. So I didn't think personally that it will be a big deal. I didn't even think there will be violence, because a lot of people are not interested in this election. But now the politicians have changed their tone, and I'm starting to get cautious. Like, when you talk like this, you are antagonized. You're no longer talking about issues. Now you are saying, when you say this tribe cannot be in power, or you start saying that tribe has been in power for too long, you're starting to make things personal against people, and you're going to, you have, because such talks, it radicalizes people, and I was like, I was not really happy with this. So this is the state of the election now in Kenya, that there is a lot of tribal rhetoric that is really concerning. And I think that is just a short history lesson about Kenya when it comes to the tribal nature of our politics. But yeah. I think my sister Tanzan here can take over, so that I can also give my personal opinion.
Exactly. You can add any historical context that you have, Tanzania.
Thank you, Vika.
Good to see you, by the
way. Good to see you.
Welcome.
Too. Thank you. I think Mudatezi did a good job of summarizing the history. Yeah, that was good. So just the highlights, we got our independence in 1963, our first president, the first Kenyatta, he ruled until 1979, then Moi until, I think, 2000 and something. I think he got the dates right. And then Kibaki was actually after Moi, the third president was actually the vice president in the former government. He was the minister of education under Moi. So it was, so he became the president after Moi. And then after Kibaki, it was back to the second Kenyatta, the son, who is currently the president. So yes, that's how it's gone. We haven't really had a big change of government since independence. And did you also talk about the 82 coup or no?
No, that is where you can. I was trying to be a bit, diplomatic, but now because I was alone, now but you're here, you can now.
And by the way, today I will be deferring more to Muendatezi, because he's been on the ground and all that. So if we're wrong, he's probably right. So when it comes to the tribalism, yes, we have a very tribal based politics. The only thing in Kenya is we were talking about Somalia yesterday, and it's homogeneous. For them it's about clans. For us, we have tribes, but we don't really have one big majority tribe. But the biggest tribe is about, I think, 30% of the population. So we have more like tribal affiliations.
24%. I think it's 26 or 24. It's not.
Okay, that one. So so it's not a majority, but it's still sizable. So what happens with we have more the affiliations. So certain tribes gravitate together and they form affiliations and so on. So we have this sort of organizations. So when he was talking about people switching sides, so that just happens in every single election. People come up and then, months or days before, they switch from one party to another and so on. So it's a very hectic, chaotic thing. Some people who are together in one election, in the next one, they have switched, their political partners. It's always very, very jumbled. It's not, there's the big ones, but everybody's always playing chess and making different moves in every elections. So, that's the first thing. The second thing, it usually leads to, for the most part, Kenyans are peaceful during regular season. Like most of the time, you'll find people get along, people are just friendly. It's not a big thing. But once, that spark is ignited, then it goes deep. But for the most part, people are usually peaceful. So, when election comes, or, it's usually elections. But for the history of Kenya, we haven't really had the tribal violence, like Rwanda and some countries. We have had more friction and then, incidences, and then things happen for a while and then they cool down for a bit. But the first time it really was, ignited was in 1982, when we had the first and only attempted coup in Kenya. And I don't know if it's in East Africa as well, but in Kenya, that was the only coup where, a certain group of people who felt they were not being represented in the current government decided to stage a coup, and it was in the military. It was stopped before it went further. And things happened afterwards. Some people, were taken out and so on. But yeah, that was the first time that really erupted into an attempted overthrow of the government. For the most part, it has been politically a political struggle for both sides. People have been fighting more for political power than for, let's say, military power. Yeah, so I wanted to add that.
Yeah. You've actually, it's a very interesting point actually we have made, that in Kenya, like we have not really had issue-based politics actually in Kenya. That is what really we have been trying to get there. But if I may ask my sister Tanzania, are you following the politics this year?
No, I have to be honest. I have not really followed this year. So enlighten me, please.
Oh, okay. So this year we have like two main candidates.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that we have two main candidates that they're actually very unpopular, but they are popular in their own way, because I've seen some people who say that actually most people I talk to, they don't like them, but they say that they're the strongest, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I've come to realize something about us Africans, that these two candidates, we will have when we usually blame our leaders in Africa, say, oh man, we have bad leaderships, it's not us, it's our leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We have if we had good leaders, we will thrive. But these two candidates, they're not popular and still I'm sure they'll probably garner some millions of votes. Those are millions of people who have endorsed them, even though they have history of corruption, they have history of they don't qualify, but you will find that a lot of them have been endorsed. They will be endorsed by millions. Then I realized that why are we complaining about the leaders that we actually choose? So it was a very interesting light bulb moment I had, that even this year, although the politics has become even less tribal than usually it is, but the tribal rhetoric has begun by some leaders. But we have begun to talk about issues like economy, like I don't know if you've heard about the bottoms-up approach, or the 6,000 shillings social fund.
Hey, no, I have not heard that one. Are they giving people free money?
Well, okay, yeah. The candidate, that is now what the candidates are campaigning with. That they say that one of the candidates is saying that they'll give 6,000 unemployment fund if they are elected, that he will enforce that there will be 6,000 shillings.
So, sorry to be cynical, but I don't see that working.
Yeah. You see, that's the thing. That's the yeah. Every people are skeptical. We are, we have the right to be skeptical because politicians. It is they are liars. They like to lie. It is not out of character for a politician to lie, but.
Do they still come up with the manifestos? You are the manifesto guy. Remember when politicians every time before during they present the manifesto, sometimes it was printed in the newspaper or something like that.
We are waiting for the manifestos. I don't know. I don't think. I don't know. This time they have really delayed. Even the leading candidates, they have not even presented their deputies who will be running with them.
Late in the game.
Yeah. That's why I'm telling you. It's a very it's a unique election. There are so many things that are unprecedented.
Because I think one of the ways that we can help people get away from this whole tribal politics is, let's just present the ideas. What are your ideas for making the whole country better, for tackling the problems with the economy, transportation? What is your foreign policy? What do you think about the unity? All these things. We have to ask these questions, and they have to present their plan for it in a way that helps everybody in the country. So if we want people to start voting, let's give them something to vote for, instead of just saying, oh well, this person is from this area and all they have to make is promises. They're good, but you have to have a plan, even if it's an unlikely one like that one. That's the plan. So you take that and then you weigh that against somebody else's plan who has well thought out. He has actually done his work. And if you have to employ a team of people, that's what you should be doing prior to running. So you should have, if you can't answer question, you should have an economist on your team. You should have a farmer. You should have people from everywhere if you're going to be running for for that big office.
Yeah, actually, that was what I was going to say, that they do this time there seems to be a shift. I think probably a positive shift, that there is actually some sort of discussion about issues. Yes, there is that tribal narrative that was there, but it's not as bad as it used to be, where a politician will just simply
Stay his time and wait for the crowd to holler back.
Yeah. We are, this thing we are this tribe. We have met with that guy from that tribe, and now we are running as these two tribes. That was the politics before, but now at least we have some issue based. We have actually they have actually put forward some sort of agenda that is, however crude it is, but one of the politicians is William Ruto, and the other one is Raila Odinga. Although now we have this guy called Ruben Kigame, who is also running, and he is actually visually impaired, but he has actually managed to garner a lot of support. So he might be a dark horse in the number 3. Okay. So it's a very interesting. We have had some people who have come out and just say, you know what, I'm coming to change Kenya, and so those are just interesting things. So let me talk about the bottoms up, and you've already, I think I've already mentioned the 6,000 unemployment fund that they're trying to do. That I don't know if it will work. I don't know he has not yet said how he's going to accomplish this. Oh yeah, he has said that the money he's going to get from dealing with corruption. That is what when he was asked, where will you get this money? He said, when we deal with corruption, that money you're going to acquire and get back. That is the money we are going to use to pay people unemployment fund. There is also the issue of universal healthcare. It's been a very interesting year. So they are issue based. It's been a little bit of issue based politics.
That's
the
good.
issue of
that's progress. Yeah.
some small, like I was saying, there is actually small progress that has not been seen in other elections that now, but like bottoms up economic approach where the leader, the president, the current vice president, the deputy president William Ruto is trying to pushing the economy from the bottom, like the people who are known as hustlers, the guys who sell the mama mboga,
Is this like the Juakali program?
Yeah, the informal sector. So basically, he's pushing that he's pushing policies that says his policies will be probably to promote that sector because he feels like they are the backbone of the economy. So he's pushing for those. His agenda really saying, hey, these are the guys we're going to have policies that are good for them, that will promote them. That he's talking about funds that will give loans and stuff like that. Yeah, he does have a lot of economic. Actually, I think he's one of the few candidates that has an economic, some sort of. He has not removed his manifesto or showed us how really he's going to do this. He's said this by mouth. A lot of people are waiting for him to remove, that manifesto so that we actually see, how he's planning to do this,
Yeah.
Not just talk. So that is what we're waiting for. But the campaign period has not begun. So maybe we are waiting for, we're waiting for his campaign period, but so that we can actually see these things. But I believe they will, because there will be actually a presidential debate. I don't know. They've already given a date. I don't know what time. I'll come back and
yeah, that would be an interesting one to watch. That would be interesting. Now, the issue that faces incumbents is this. You can promise to do this and that, but people can actually look at what you have done so far. So, in terms of his promise or his policy, what has he done so far, to help in that sector?
You're saying the police, what has he done so far before he enters power?
Well, because like I said, the incumbent, they're in office right now, so you can look at their record and say, I can promise to do this, but what have they done so far? Are they doing something new they haven't done, or are they continuing something they have been doing already?
Now that is the question he actually gets constantly asked, that why not do it now? These things.
What I'm asking is, are there things right now that they have done, for the bottoms people? I don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's something that you can bank on. You can say, look, I have done this and that, and I'm going to do on top of that this, because when you have a chance to be in a position, you can say, I have a record of doing 1, 2, 3. You're not going to start promising things when you haven't done anything in the past. So if they can show, especially somebody can stand on their record and say, we have done 1, 2, 3 so far, and we're going to do 4, 5, and 6. So are there things right now that are being done to help the the lower sectors of the economy?
No. Okay, that one I can say no. In fact, they're really struggling at this moment with high taxes and high cost of living. They're not having a good time right now. But that is the question he actually constantly asks, like, why not do it now? But this is usually his reply, that he is not in favor with the president.
That's not a good show. Oh, you should never do that. You should never disagree with your boss publicly.
Yeah. But they have been disagreeing for a couple of years now, and they tell him, then you should resign, right? But
because
there's a lot of politics in that when he starts now asking, when you ask now these hard questions, it becomes they have very political answers,
Wow.
You're not friends with the president. He doesn't allow me to do anything what I want.
That kind of internal, that it just looks messy because you wouldn't find like, or even Joe Biden when he was Obama's vice president, you wouldn't find him disagreeing with Obama in public, even if he did disagree with him. Similar with his VP right now, she wouldn't just out and disagree. Anyway, but we do things differently sometimes. So hey,
Yeah. But I used to at some point I used to look down on Kenyan politics, but then I realized that sometimes maybe we look our Kenyan politics is actually it might be ahead of the curve usually because some things we do then we see US doing it after that. It's like, oh, we did this like that time ago. Now is when you are yeah. Like now even with the Trump issue, we just feel it like, oh my God, this is not this is guys don't know how to solve the issue when somebody is not happy with the election. Yeah. So what the deputy president is doing is that the president is not very popular right now. You see.
Mm-hmm.
So he's banking that since the president is not very popular as he is, disagreeing with him won't hurt him that much politically.
Okay. Yeah, that's a sly and clever move. I can't be mad, especially if you have high ambitions. So when it comes to development, there's two ways of rating the results. Usually it's either, the big projects, the infrastructure, and the second thing is, the people's, economic status. When it comes to Kenya, I think we have done much better on the infrastructure development, roads and all that. Like, the rate of development in Kenya has been just, amazing. So for me, I can say, that's, some good points. But would you say that the standards of living, of the modern people has improved or just, stayed the same?
This is actually an issue that I think is common also outside East Africa, the whole of East Africa. Yeah, you can look at a road, and we talked about this yesterday. China coming here, building all this. They can build all these roads, but in the end of the day, if you listen or heard of this book called The Economic Hitman, something the Confessions or something about Economic Hitman.
Yeah, someone mentioned it sometime. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, these projects, they're not meant to help the bottom people, the hustlers, the people who are probably the majority, the informal sector. When you build a road, which is very expensive, I think one of the most expensive roads in the world is being built in Kenya, and and then who has a car? Who has the cars? And you raise taxes. So you've benefited a small group of people, but you've staked an entire economy of a whole country just to benefit a small group of people. So you find that these are projects that end up not helping a lot of people. They end up lying on their sleep. We call them white elephants. They end up not doing anything of value or adding anything of value. They just become liabilities, like the SGR, which has been just operating on losses since it was
really?
made. Yeah, it has never made a profit, and that's now more than 5 years. It's not made a profit. And you know what's funny is that now even the Chinese are just saying, just take this thing. They were operating it. Now they just take this thing. It's not even making profits. They're giving us early. They were supposed to wait for a couple of yeah.
But why is it not popular enough? I mean, was it more cost? Why would it be at a loss? When there was so much excitement about it, before and during.
No, the problem is not that people are not using it. The problem is that when it comes to trains, and it's not unique to Kenya, all over the world, trains don't make profit generally. That's a fact. They are just not profit-making endeavors. When you government build, it's not. I think even in the United States, they have a problem with their railway infrastructure, as what I've been hearing, that they say it's old. Is it
Yeah,
good?
it's in need of a lot of repairs. It's still running, but it's in a need of a lot of repairs. And it's in some places. Some places don't even like to have public transportation at all. So, yeah, it depends on the area.
Yeah, that's because like trains don't make profits.
Right,
They
and
don't make.
mostly, and also here they're usually not for profit. They're actually usually government works, so they don't expect them to make profit. The SGR, is that government run, or is it who owns
That's
it?
the thing. No, like it's impossible for a train to make profit. That's why
Okay.
it's government run. That's why you cannot privatize it because
Mhm.
who's going to buy a company that can't make profit?
An idiot, yes.
That's why they're always government run because it's very hard unless they increase their prices to unreasonable
Right.
levels. Like
Hmm.
it has to be just government run because that's the thing with trains. So
Okay.
when you take a loan, and to build a train that will eat from the which in which the contents of that loan is still private, which is a thing that all of Africa doesn't know. Even we have found out in Uganda the other day that their loan says that they will lose their airport, and the revenues from that airport is the revenues from the airport in Uganda is put the account is shared with the Chinese bank. So the
Hey,
Chinese have
hey, hey.
the Chinese
Why
have
do we keep falling into these obvious traps?
so the Chinese are running that airport. In short, they're running the only international airport in Uganda. It's run by Chinese government. That's you've really put yourself in a vulnerable position. That also Kenya, we suspect that our port has been put in a similar vulnerable position. Although the Chinese government and the Kenyan government has denied this, but we still suspect.
Let me tell you something to bring up something that Tunaija was saying one time about two things: security and accountability. There is no reason why things like the financial deals that a country is making with another deal should be a secret to the people of either side. This is something that affects everybody, from the top to the bottom. There's no need to be making this. And then if you do, you're supposed to tell the people. There is no need why, we shouldn't know. This deal should be hush hush and kept confidential, because this is something that is in the interest of everybody in the country. Now, when it comes to military, have all the secrets that you want. You're not supposed to be letting everybody in. But when it comes to, those, when you're broke, it's not going to be a secret. You can hide your brokenness for a while, but when you're not eating that you're hungry. So, they're not going to be able to hide the consequences of their deals too much longer from the people. So it's just best to tell the people, this is what we got. They should even print them in the local newspapers and just let everybody know and understand what we're in for, even if we can't do anything. This is not a matter of state secrecy. Should be, an open book.
It's actually illegal in Kenya for a deal like this to be secret. There's actually laws against it, but I don't
Oh,
know. Yeah, I
okay.
don't understand why it's not followed. It's just there's a lot of impunity like that, man. Because I'm supposed to, even me. There's like it's called what freedom? Is it
Freedom
freedom
of
of information?
information. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm supposed to just even me. I can just go and I should just request the deal, and the government should provide it to me without any issues or something like that. But they're not doing it. So I think when you start also, I see that African countries, when we start bending our own laws,
Hmm.
for foreign interests, that's also not a good sign.
Wow. And it's one of those things that just makes your head heavy, because somebody was saying about our leaders getting the choice between a briefcase and a bullet. Like, this is what you're presented with. You can either take the money and reach your family and people that or you can exit the world early. So
I don't,
most.
I don't think. Okay, I don't think that's true. I don't think. I know we might like to be very. We can imagine. We can have an active imagination and think that maybe these guys. I just think that these people are just not good people. I don't think they're being forced to being bad. I don't think it takes a lot of I've seen even banks, these big banks that give us loans. I've seen them. Give interviews and it's like, yeah, man, we don't even. It's not. There's no bullet. It's no. It doesn't. It doesn't take
That's
hard
even
convincing.
worse. Oh my
Yeah?
goodness, that's even worse.
There's no bullet. It's a deal that benefits everybody if you're corrupt. So there's no bullet. It doesn't take a lot of convincing. It's just direct. Come
It's
here. We
just
will take our loan. We will give you this cut. You know. And the most leaders are okay with this. There's no threatening. There's no nothing. To them, it's just good business. So yeah, that is the situation. Actually, debt is actually a big issue actually in this
Do you
election.
think they understand what they're getting into, like what the country is getting into?
Now that is where things, if they do, then there's no good answer. If they do, then that's dangerous, right? And if they don't, that's also dangerous.
Yes, both. We're in such a country because, in the past we could say, they were tricked and duped. The whole Elenana, the leader of Maasai in 1904 agreement. Anyway, in those days, they used to trick those chiefs who they can't even read. How are you going to sign something when you can't even read the language? But, they X'd, they put the X on it and suddenly you signed out, away all your lands and your hearts and everything. But, we could say those times they didn't know. They hadn't really known. But now, can we really say that?
Now, actually, I think they do know, because a lot of I'll speak for Kenya, but a lot of our leaders are very highly educated, man.
Yes, that's what
they are, especially the ones in this government that has been signing these loans. The Minister of Finance is a Harvard graduate. Like the guy who signed he's Harvard. He learned economics in Harvard. So he know, there's no way he doesn't know what he's doing. That is the Minister of Finance.
right.
So
oh, before we go on too long, I see somebody has entered, but I don't know who they are. Hello.
Oh, yes, okay. Yes, that's me.
It's Mika.
Oh, okay. You don't have your regular avatar app, so I didn't know.
Okay. I know you guys have seen my message in the private chat, right?
Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
We tried to hold the fort for as long as we could.
yeah, I'm just actually preparing for that because I haven't prepared myself. So I'm working on that. After a couple hours, I'll be having that. But anyways, I want to ask you guys one question. I'll be coming on and and leaving out just to check if there's somebody coming here to allow them to come. But I want to ask you guys a question. So about everything that's going on, what do you think Kenya people should do? And on top of that, what do you think the rest of Africa as well should do?
Whew, that's a tough one. I'll let Mondetezi go first and copy his answer.
Okay. Let me. What I don't think I can tell Kenyan people what to do. This because I used to have this mentality that then I realized that people know what's good for them. In the end of the day, people, we have this mentality that Africans. And I've had this argument with my brother Biggie in this parliament many times that I believe Africans know what they know what's good for them. They know even when they choose a leader, they genuinely think that this leader will do the things the leader once says they will do. Even now in Kenya, even now I feel like the people who choose what's best for them. So I can't really say, hey, go and do this and do that. But what I found interesting in this election, and in fact, not just this election, in other elections, even in Africa, that there is a new crop of leaders coming up that the colonial mindset that these other leaders that had come, they're gone. These are the leaders. These are what is it? Is it colonial leaders or leaders who had the old school mindset? Well, they have run out of those leaders. Now we have new types of leaders. So I feel like even in Kenya right now, our two candidates, even though they might be unpopular, they are they are not like the previous one. They don't have children in London. Things like these are things. Those marks that this one is just going to be a puppet. Don't have these signs. Like their children, we see them here. We see the children who went to school over here. They are, there is that. All of them have this tough view. So, and they have one of them, Raila Odinga, and his history with his past views and stuff. So you have this, and William Ruto, we have seen that his children learned in Kenya, went to till university. They have been in Kenya, his degrees are. So you have this. It will be not as easy for them to get influenced by the West. That is what I'm saying. That is, I can tell you that in Kenya. So that is like the positives I can see. Whoever comes out, they will not be easy to control by the West as previous administration. That is because I've seen here, the president's cousin having British accents and like, oh my God, what is this? President's personal family, when they speak, they can't even speak. The president's son can't speak Swahili. These are things that these are red flags, and you can. So if you are, the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, he was, when he was asked, he says he doesn't even have any beef with Africa. Even if we voted against him in the...
That was such a bad, embarrassing speech. I don't know why that guy went up there and said all those things.
Yeah, but he said that the President Putin, he said he doesn't even have any beef with Africa. He doesn't care. It doesn't really hurt him. Because he says these guys have been threatened. And no, it's not the President Putin that said this. I think it is his, is it foreign minister? He said, yeah, these guys have been threatened, man. Their kids are in Europe and stuff like that. He was just saying the truth that was hurting us. That, their kids are in Europe. And they were specific talking about Nigeria. That, these days their kids are in Europe. They can just be threatened by,
like, see, that's why when it comes to...
they don't even have to go to the level of sanctions. They just say, we ban your children from going to USA and, and Europe. And that is enough for them to crumble. So,
and that's why we can't be up there wagging our fingers at them when we want to, be like them. You just be quiet and say nothing, just like South Africa was, clever. Just don't take any sides or try to bring both sides together, but just don't jump on one side already and say, this. At the least, just be quiet or say, I'll wait for things.
This is why I'm telling you that this new crop of candidates, they're not going to be easily influenced like that, because they're children. Like you can say, these days I just look at people and their family. You get a good taste on how they are, how they think, and what type of their children are in Kenya. The deputy president's daughter actually got married to a Nigerian quite recently. It's a very big wedding, a Nigerian man married. So you find that there is that,
but if we have to be brutally honest, Moi was also a very, Kenyan-oriented guy. Even him, he had his, family, well, the little that we knew about it, right there. He wasn't a big, overseas traveler. He was always, and for me, that's why I said with the Juakali, I'm not, pro him or anything, but he did, think about the small, the small guy, the Mwananchi, the so on. So he did try something to help the little guy. Whether he succeeded or not, that's different. But we also have to think of the people at the forefront of everything. For me, when I think about it, let me try to answer, and then I'll let you answer. When I to answer Mika's question is what should we do as Kenyans? For me, I think it's let's vote for the person with the best ideas. It might be, you know, somebody who's not, you know, from your tribe. It might be, you know, somebody that you hadn't considered before. But maybe this is the time for us to start thinking beyond, you know, just our usual perspectives, and start thinking, actually debating about what we can do. And even if we don't, you know, or do that, you know, en masse, it will give pressure to the future candidates that people are thinking more on a deeper level. Like you said, now people are debating about, you know, the healthcare system and the bottoms up. Oh, I shouldn't say bottoms up. I just remember bottom. But now people are talking about the interests of the country, instead of just talking about the interest of, you know, this and that tribe. And sometimes even the, you know, the tribe that votes, you know, wins. You know, if you vote for just somebody just because of that, sometimes even the people don't even benefit. You know, it's not like every single person in that tribe is going to get a handout. So, you know, let's think of what makes Kenya great, instead of what, you know, which person is going to be up there. For the rest of Africa, you know, let's keep saying, you know, we support Kenya as a country, you know, not, you know, one person, not taking sides.
Yeah, but you know, that's what I was going to, that's a good thing you're saying, but I think that's already happening, you know. So that's why I didn't want to tell Kenyans what to do, because I already see that.
Well, Mika already asked you to tell them, so you have to.
If you see the politicians, yeah, but you know, if you see the politicians, the way they're talking already, that means they're reacting to the ground, that the ground has changed, you know, that it's no longer the normal tribal rhetoric that will work. Now people want to actually listen to ideas and stuff. So no matter how funny they are actually given ideas. So that's why I was just saying, I can't tell people are they are getting smarter in their own way. They're listening to ideas. The tribal, in fact, I feel like now when you start being tribal, you become unpopular. We're getting there. I feel like we are going to start getting there. I don't know why. We might test this theory in this election, because they are tribal. We want to see. But I'm starting to see that. I'm like, maybe if you start becoming tribal as a politician, you start to become unpopular. That is what I hope to see. I'm seeing signs that that is the case. But you know, you have to, until the ballot, you have to see the truth. That is where the punishment is. You know.
Yes.
So also what was I going to say? I was going to say something about the attrition that in Kenya most politicians don't even get re-elected. That has been the trend in Kenya for a couple of years now, for a couple of, like, since 2007, that 70% of members of parliament they don't come back.
Wow.
So it's usually a new crop of politicians every 5 years. So that is also part of, and that was just to contribute on what you're saying about the children and people. When I talk about children of a politician, there's this book I read called North of the South. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No,
it talks about. You have it. You should go and read it.
Okay, who's the author? You said North and South.
North of South.
North of South.
Oh, it's South of North. Yeah, North of South. I think I'll post it in the group. It's
okay.
It's a very good book. It talks about Kenya actually in the 60s and the 70s. It's written by an Indian man, but it's a very you can laugh or you can get annoyed depending on your humor, because some things are a little bit is it racist? But I don't even think it's racist. I just think that was the way things were seen and that during those days, you know.
Yes.
It is a book of its time. You know.
I understand. I used to read those old, you know, historical manuals. The Negro runs around in a fervid dance. You know.
Yeah, actually, he doesn't say Negro, but he says African. But there are things that can be a bit racist, but if he says something very interesting that it really stuck with me. In fact, that is why I actually went to read that book, because I saw it like posted somewhere, that part. Then I was like, what book is this? Then it says that these people, he was talking about Kenyan elite at that time, the Kenyan politician. These people, they ride horses.
Wow.
They have children in England, you know.
Yeah,
they speak the Queen's language. They want, you know. Then he says they're just like us. There's no, the difference is just skin, but they are benefiting from this broken system, this system of oppression. They are benefit. So he says that they are just like us. So, so that thing really, yeah. That was it wasn't him who was saying that. He was quoting a white man who was beginning an international school. He wanted to start an international school in Kenya. I think probably it's now a big school probably, but that was what he was saying. Like,
that is a bitter compliment, you know.
Yeah, he was saying, no, he was saying that even when he in his schools, he doesn't hire black people because that Kenyan elite, they don't want black people. They want to be taught by white people.
Right.
They want their children to be taught by white people because, you know, they want because they talk like white people. They want their children to talk like white people. They want children to dress like white people. They want their children to go to white people's countries and stuff like that. So that's why I think when I read that book, if I read in that book, I'm just now when I look at a politician, I'm always looking at that. I'm always looking at their kids. Where are their kids? Where are they? You know.
No, and you have to, because, you know, if we don't, we're going to turn into Angola. Angola, they had generations of, you know, that chick who's just going around, you know, spoiling her money everywhere. She even paid to be next to, you know, Kim Kardashian. Like, how frivolous can you be when your people are just in poverty and you're out there living the life? You know, that Empire Bokassa guy. There are some people who, and especially when you spoil your children that way, for you, your first generation, you might be doing it because, oh, maybe, you know, you struggled and you're finally at the top, so you just want to grab everything. But your children are not even going to have that perspective of hardship and suffering and struggle, because for them, they're just born into it. So there's no loyalty at all on their part if you show them, you know, to despise their culture pretty much and to worship another. So, you know, that Angola, you know, princess, whatever, that spoiled little brat, she doesn't feel guilt at all. She doesn't feel like, you know, she owes her people anything, because firstly, you know, she's only half from there. I think her mother is from somewhere else. And secondly, she never got to live with the people. She only saw them as best, you know, servants or, you know, just inconveniences. So yeah, it's important to look at what your legacy is, because your children are your legacy. And if you're sending them off to other countries, it means that you're not instilling for them, you know, the love of their country. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette has already actually posted the book North of South, An African Journey.
Oh, okay, she's on it.
by Shiva Naipaul. Yeah, it's a very enlightening book. I think all Africans should read it. It talks about Tanzania, it talks about Kenya, it talks about and it talks a bit about South Africa. So it's a very nice book. Guys should read it. And what just to add on what you're saying is that when you see, that's what happens when you see this guy, this elite, they want to look, they do these things against their own people. That book really just showed me that, oh, these guys, they don't see themselves as these people, you know, they don't see themselves. Even, you know, this guy, he was white, maybe he was an Indian, but he was white passing, you know. So when he was talking to Africans who are elite, he actually quoted how they talked about their fellow Africans. You know, they're talking like natives. He was called, you know, you are a Kenyan, you're talking about other Kenyans and you're calling them natives. You know, you know. So you know, so it gave me a really good perspective of African politicians. Like, they don't see themselves as their people. They don't see themselves. They see that they look at them. They see, when they look at the mirror, they see a British guy.
They do. You remember the attorney Charles Njojo?
Yeah, the Duke of Kabetisha. Yeah,
oh my goodness! You know, a guy just trying his best to be just everything he's not. If he could just one day just go into, you know, a human car wash and just wash himself white, he would have done so, you know, for $1 million. that guy just wanted to be British so bad. Like, oh, he just tried everything in his power. You know who he's like? He's like this guy over here. He's called Clarence Thomas. I don't know what law does to people, but yeah, two similar peas in different pods. But there's this guy to Clarence Thomas. You know, the black people here don't like him very much because he was just so against them, and so, you know, the people who are doing things to them. Yeah, so you have people like that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why when and I'm talking about Africans, when you elect a leader, or when you go to elect a leader, these are things, I know they may look trivial, but just look at these things. Like, where do they take their children? How do they talk? You know, how do they, you know, just things like that, just small things like that can give you a very good view of what type of person they are and their mentality, because they're going to be representing you over there. And when they start signing deals like the ones our president is signing, and it's like, why is the president signing such one-sided deals that
Right.
are wrong? And then you start thinking, oh, he doesn't think he's Kenyan. You know, so he's like, okay, I've got this idiot, these natives. Let's eat from these natives. You know, yeah. So that is actually a thing. Even Mika here, His Excellency Mika, he posted a video of the leader of Guinea, who his people, he's buying mansions in the United States, buying big mansions. His people don't even have electricity to read.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that is in his capital city. But here he has mansions in the United States, in the Europe, all this. So when you have a leader like that, the president of the US just tells him jump, and he'll ask how high.
How high?
It is that easy, you know. It's just like, just snap up, just jump, and they say how high, because you know you've invested everything here, my brother. So and you can really you are really, and that's why they stay long in power.
Oh, they do. We didn't even have the worst one. For me, a guy that Paul Biya, is he dead or is he still in power? Because I can't see how that guy is still there. And then with that guy from the guy, I think in Gambia, or no, not Gambia, one of those countries over there, him and his son have been in just power for years and years. And the people, like, if one guy is preventing you from moving forward, I mean, there's like a million of you. That's what I always wonder sometimes. Anyway, not putting any ideas, but it's just crazy how much these people hold on to it. Like, how much more power? What more can you do? What more can you do with you have all the mansions in Switzerland, you have all your children abroad, you're an old man now. Just die peacefully. Hey.
Yeah, that's also, you know, that's also something we need to get rid of as Africans, that we really like to praise dictators sometimes. And you know, I'm not going to everybody to each their own, because even in East Africa we have our fair share of democratic dictators. But you know,
yeah, we can't talk. But okay, so let us look at what we can learn. Okay, from what other people can learn from Kenya. Let's see what we did well. What I think we have done well is that I do acknowledge that there are tribal concerns, but we all still, you know, exhort each other, you know, to go beyond that. And we have, for the most part, you know, live peacefully with each other. We haven't fully transcended it, but we're working we're on our way. And what we have also learned is that for us, there are things sometimes that are bigger once in a while than twice, because for us Kenyans, we like to make money, we like to be busy, we like to do things. So if there's something that's preventing us from doing it, you know, even if sometimes we'll put it aside for that. Like if it's preventing matatus from going and all that, we'll find a way to. So there are bigger things than, you know, these differences. And then I think we can also learn from, I don't still know how Tanzania managed to get over 150 tribes and still unite them. So that's something that we might want to learn from them. But I think we Kenyans, seeing as much, you know, vitriol as we can hash at each other, it's amazing that we haven't done worse. So I think on that one, not okay. I don't want to pat ourselves too much on the back. but given what we have, what could have been. And also I think one thing that we have also been good at hospitality towards our neighbors. Like we just welcome everybody to come and be a part, and we don't, we don't really have that mentality of, oh, they're from somewhere else and all that. We can have all these disagreements, but I think people find it a hospitable place to be.
Yeah, I agree with the hospitality part, that Kenya is not as protectionist as, and this is actually one of the things that we have to, we have to praise the current, or we have to give the kudos to the current government, although they do make a lot of mistakes when it comes to economic gymnastics. Yeah, they're very good in economic gymnastics. Even sometimes they, and I think, yeah, I think I can be honest when I say this. We have the best economists in East Africa when it comes to the government, working in government, because some of their policies, you can clearly see that the Kenyan economists seeing far, but this our neighbors are still beefing with us. Like the other day when the president of Kenya, you know, he was signing a deal with the Tanzania, and the deal was like, hey, Tanzanians, they can now start businesses in Kenya very cheaply, just like Kenyans. But we cannot do that in Tanzania,
Wait, what?
Yeah. We cannot do that. So, on paper, it looks like a bad deal, right? It looks.
That's a great deal.
Of course you would say
I'm
that.
listening to you guys. Don't think I'm not here.
Yeah. That's the thing. In paper, it looks like, oh my God, man, what's up with the president of Kenya? But if you look at what is actually happening is that now there will be a short-term transfer of capital from Tanzania to Kenya. So, so you find that there is a lot of economic gymnastics happening when it comes to Kenyan economics when these guys do it. So you find sometimes you have to be impressed. You're just like oh, okay. Also
interesting.
Also, the Kenya is planning to rebase its economy. I think next year. I think it's around next year. And what that will do is it will take down our debt to GDP ratio below 50%. That is what they're claiming. That is what the rumors are claiming, that it will take down our debt to GDP. I did not see this coming. I did not say, but
so
yeah.
With the first deal, with the Tanzanians coming to do business in Kenya, so is it just easy where the travel, is it for a limited time or indefinite time, or how does it work?
It's just now, it's policy. I don't know. There is no time limit on policy. It's just policy.
And right now, let me ask you then, sorry. Right now, is it pretty easy to travel between the three countries with our shared passport?
Yeah, it is.
It was easier. It's easier than during 1 year ago, 2 years ago, when at the height of the COVID saga, we were not in good terms. So it's easier now. I have to say.
That's wonderful to know, because I've always wanted, to travel around. Okay, that's even more progress. Okay, so good news coming in this morning. Let's continue.
Yeah, it's easier. East Africa is not doing too bad. I was very skeptical actually about the debt in East Africa. It was not looking good. Then I read. Then I just an economist actually just was talking, and I was like listening to him, and he was saying that Kenya plans to rebase its economy next year, meaning that the debt to GDP ratio will probably go below 50% due to economic gymnastics, not because I don't know if it's true or just due to that. We'll be playing. We find that. Oh, we can still push this East African currency, because that was one of the big impediments. So it was like, okay, so these guys, they may look like as if they are fools, and sometimes they are, but but sometimes they
not always.
Yeah, sometimes they pull off something like, "Oh, you had thought far," and I was, so that is one of the things I see that, and I see the in fact now that we're talking about Tanzania, I'm a big fan of although now I cannot endorse politicians because they can change tomorrow, and you're the one here telling this yourself that you're a big fan. So,
You already mentioned before, and I have your copy. I have your record of what you said before. But
I remember that conversation.
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
let me tell you something. But but
Mm.
but President Salmia, she to me she strikes me as a very like not is it dangerous? Okay, I don't know if the word is dangerous, but
Tread
deadly. I
carefully,
don't know.
my brother.
I'm saying that when it comes to economics, she is also savvy. She is also in the know. She's well known. She knows her moves. So I see her moves in
Mm.
East Africa, and so there are things even now when she makes a deal, you have to be very, you also have to be very careful, because she also seems that she can also see far, So the
Mm.
and I'm happy actually because now we are coming up with some, these are the type of leaders we need. We need dangerous leaders in Africa. They leaders
Mm.
who can, people when you do a deal with them, you think three times, four times, not those are the types of leaders we need. Those are the leaders I will be confident when they talk to China, when they talk to
Mm.
this one is a dangerous lady. She can she can pull off something over there, and you think you have won. That then you realize no, she has caught us. So I'm happy actually. So when even you talk about even Paul Kagame, he is also very economic savvy. Even the way he promotes Rwanda, man, you can tell that this is somebody who is in the
Yeah.
I
know. He
think
knows how
you
to play
have to
the
be,
work.
like you say, you have to be shrewd with, with outsiders, and you have to be honest with your people, because
Yeah.
you
But it never comes like that. That's the problem. That type of package, it never comes like
well,
that.
I would say that Kagame comes closest to that. He was, very honest with the Rwandese, especially in the aftermath of what they went through. And I think they did their reconciliation way better than South Africa did. It wasn't open to the world. They did it amongst themselves. It was an internal affair, and I think they got out for the most part, much better than they would have otherwise. So for me, I think that he did have that conversation with his people, and they said, they talked about the difficult issues with the tribalism and all that. So yeah, he I think he was pretty much honest with them, and in dealing with the other powers, he I'm not saying he's a saint, and there are some things that he has done that calls, but what he has done is he's also very shrewd when dealing with outsiders. He presents a very firm. He's very similar to President Abe, the Ethiopian president. He
Yeah,
doesn't.
another dangerous one. That one, another.
No, don't start calling things on them. Let's just say
No,
because
no,
you
no,
might
okay, shrewd.
you
The
might
word
be
is shrewd.
making
I know the
targets.
diplomatic word is shrewd and
Yeah, see,
ambitious.
I'm trying to be, that the whole diplomacy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying those are. But me, I'm okay with that. We
Okay.
need.
Oh, no, 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 no. Just, yeah. Do you? So yeah, they are present. You also have to treat with your people with respect. Even if you're defending somebody, you also have to be honest with them and say, this is what we're doing. Sometimes it might seem I'm doing things a certain way, but I will always, tell you the truth. So it's this. You also have to trust your own people and believe that they will follow you if you're going the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
One
yeah,
there's one thing you mentioned before, Tanzan. Before you guys continue, you were talking about, the challenges that Kenya is facing,
Mhm.
and you mentioned about you don't know how Tanzania did with 121 different tribes,
Mhm.
and so that's one of the things that I wanted to point out. About Kenya, I think one of the things that Kenya can do is actually to, you know, be honest with their people, and be honest with their people. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to point out about Kenya. I think one of the things that Kenya can do is actually to, you know, be honest with their people, and be honest with their people. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to point out about Kenya. I think one of the things that Kenya can do is actually to, put an emphasis on the language, on the Swahili language, because I know, I mean, majority of people they do speak, but also there are people who do not speak. You know what I'm saying? And I think that in a way it creates a barrier, because there are people who, you know, you guys almost everybody speaks English, but also a few people speak Swahili, and I don't know how Swahili is emphasized in Kenya, but I think this could be one of the ways, you know, to honestly bring together Kenyans at the end of the day, because that's what Nyerere, you know, did back in the days with Tanzania. And I mean, he did that long time ago, but you know, it's not too late for, you know, for Kenya to emphasize on that. That's just one of the way that Tanzania did, but there's so many other different ways that they did. For example, I shared about how students they were sent to different locations in Africa. So I mean, in Tanzania. So if you're coming from north, you go to the south. If you're south, you go to the east. You go to all these places, and then so whatever school you go, for example, the high school I went, I had like 121 different tribes in one school. Like I had entire Tanzania in one school, in a way that we interact together every day. We live in the same room. We eat together. We start together. It's something that started a long way before, to the point where today, like when you meet people, you don't even know, like here in Tanzania, you don't know their tribes, but you just know where they're coming from. Like somebody can say, like, "Hey, I'm coming from," let's say, "I'm coming from Rovuma," but I don't even know like what kind of tribes are in Rovuma. You know what I'm saying? That's that's in a way that like people they're not aware of the tribe specific, except those big tribes that everybody knows. But there are a lot of tribes that you have no even idea, because nobody put emphasis on the tribe or religion or things like that. And recently, what I'm happy also about the current regime is that, you know, the president and the leaders have been speaking like plainly about all these things, that, you know, this, you know, just the other day president was saying that this is the country that our forefather Julius Kambarage Nyerere, he made sure that he made sure that your religion doesn't matter, your tribe doesn't matter, like whatever you're coming from doesn't matter. This is how Tanzania was built on. Like this is how we have always been like that. And she said that nothing is going to change. And he was saying that because, you know, soon we're gonna have do you guys know censorship? We're gonna have that here in Tanzania. And so she was saying that, you know, nobody will be asked about religion or tribes or things like that. These are things that we do not care about. It's your personal issue, you know, and we're going to always keep like that. So I think we can look at Kenya and we can look at like what is the cause of that tension of, tribes that comes all the time. And we can look at the ways to to deal with that. For example, as I was mentioned, with the language, emphasis on Swahili, making sure that maybe everybody learns Swahili, everybody speak that, because at the end of the day, the whole country will be connected. And this is not a tribal language, but it's just a language that unified Tanzania, right? And it can also unify a lot of it can unify Kenya and other countries out there. That's why this is Swahili Nation, by the way.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. But I think a lot of Kenyans speak Swahili. I know it is the common narrative that Kenyans we don't speak Swahili that much, but there is actually most Kenyans speak Swahili. I've never met a Kenyan who doesn't speak Swahili. Like,
but is it really promoted like in Tanzania? I mean, does it have that status?
No, obviously, it's not promoted. Even in the office environment, it's not promoted. Yeah,
Right.
it's not promoted like that. I don't know. Okay, yeah, maybe we should. Actually, I've been thinking about this, because even especially right now, when you look at the United Nations Security Council,
Mm-hmm.
All these diplomats who speak their language, you think they don't know English? They know English very well, but you know what? When the microphone is in front of them, they'll speak mother tongue clear very well. They'll speak.
I definitely agree with what Mika said. Although it will take quite a lot to to get Kenyans to be in that mentality. But I think it's the direction that we should take. Let me ask you this, Mika. So you say that for Tanzanians, there's not a lot of emphasis on the tribalism. Do you think that this has also diminished the importance of tribalism? Do people still speak their traditional languages and practice their traditional culture, or did you just forget your tribe, just speak Kiswahili?
No. People, they do practice, and they do. For example, one of the things that I think I'll be able to do later in the future is to visit all these, I mean, in the countryside and these different places. People, they do that. They still practice. They're still speaking language. They're still proud of their tribe. But what I meant is, it's not an issue. It's not a cause to something. Like people, everybody practice their own stuff, and I mean, we know, but it's not an issue as it is in so many African countries right now. Like, for example, I personally, I know, and people, they know that if you're coming from this region, you are from this tribe and you're from that tribe, and we even sometimes we talk about it. But what I meant is, it's not an issue. It's not.
So do you still speak your tribal language?
Me personally, I don't, because of where I was born. Because I was born in my hometown. I was born in town, and my family. I mean, growing up, my family, they were never speaking their tribal language. They always speak Swahili. So I grew up listening that. I would have spoken my tribal language if I grew up in the countryside, because when you go there, a lot of people, they speak like tribal language.
Yes.
And and also they speak Swahili. So the emphasis, it was for every Tanzanians to speak Swahili, because Nyerere is saw really far. Like, he already saw it that this is going to be a big problem in the future, and I have to emphasize for everybody to speak Swahili, so that we can all be united. Like, all these 121 tribes, there's no way for us to be united if we don't speak the same language, the common language. We will be divided, obviously, if we speak different languages. So the emphasis was on that. But still, a lot of people, they speak, their tribal language. So whenever they go to their countryside, they just use their tribal language because everybody understands. But when they go to town, they speak Swahili because that's what everybody understands.
Oh, okay. No, that's how it should be. That works beautifully, because sometimes, like in Kenya, when people leave and then they go to the main cities, they usually like, if they meet people, usually they just end up speaking Swahili, and then when they go back to the countryside, they can't speak, or their children, they can't speak the language of their grandparents. So people end up losing their tribal languages instead of having them both. So if you can speak both languages, like most people in Kenya speak 3 languages. They speak their mother tongue, English and Kiswahili. But some people in the cities, they don't look down, on speaking their native languages. You look at me calling Kenyans native, but they look down on their mother tongues, and some of them even look down on Kiswahili. Some of them even look at people who speak Kiswahili as being a little bit on the lower classes. So if you speak only English, some people look at that as being better than the regular Kenyan.
Yeah, that's the mind that we need to decolonize. Everybody, and we have a lot of people that think like that here as well. And I think it's such a it's something that we need to deal with, because even for us, as we're saying that I want to have a common language in Africa, a lot of people, they get sensitive about it. But what we mean is, you're gonna always keep your language. You're gonna always keep your nature and everything. But we need something that can connect all of us together. Exactly. And for that, in Africa, the biggest language, the language that is spoken by majority of people in Africa is Swahili. That's the first African language. And then you have other languages like I guess the second one is Igbo, and I think it's Amhara you have, and other languages. But so you can still keep your own language, you can keep your heritage, but how can we communicate with one another? How can we be united as Africans? How can we keep our identity as African based language? And in that case, then we have to come up with all these big languages in Africa, for example Swahili, to make sure that our people, they learn and they speak, and we have to also, as Monatez was saying, we have to. Right now, it's a. They say AU they allowed it to be the what, the work language, is it? Yeah, the work language. So I think if you're gonna put this Swahili in our workplaces, if you're gonna include in so many areas, I think, you know, eventually we'll start, you know, like getting into the system. But right now, a lot of places, when you go to the offices and whatever, you see like a lot of people, they're using English, right? So it's something that even here, you know, I wish we were using Swahili right now, but a lot of people here don't understand Swahili, so we're gonna lose our people somehow. But hopefully we can do that in the coming days. How to get Swahili kidogo?
Tuongee
Bana,
kidogo.
tuonge bana, acha tuache
Kiswahili
hizi.
kidogo. Kiswahili. Hayo tuongee Kiswahili kidogo bwana. Au Monatez haujui Kiswahili?
Najua Kiswahili. Najua sasa shida ni hii mambo ya kuswitch. Sasa lazima za Kiswahili ndio nikumbuke sasa.
Ameshaanguka mtihani immediately ati switch.
Look at that.
Nirudishe akili ianze kufikiria Kiswahili ndio tulikuwa nimeanza.
Yes, I mean, just rudisha Kiswahili, kwa sababu wakati mwingine hapa tuna ndugu zetu wanatokea Ethiopia, wanaote wanaongea you know, Amharic hapa, kuna wengine walikuwa wanazungumzia, you know, Oromia. Kwa hiyo yani hii inabidi iwe ni namna pekee tu ya kawaida ya sisi kuzungumza Kiswahili pia wakati mwingine.
Ndio hata hao saizi wanakatu wanafikiria sawa wanasema nini sasa hao pia washughulike kidogo.
Yeah, washughulike. Tumeshaongea saa 1 na dakika 30 tumeongea kwa Kiingereza.
Kwa Kiingereza.
Kiingereza, kwani tuongee Kiingereza hapa? Na sisi hapo wote angalia, tuna Mkenya, Mtanzania. Kwani tusiongee Kiswahili? Wacha wakiondoka, wacha wakimbie.
Ndio. Wacha kidogo.
Mwendo teze sema Kiswahili kitukuzwe. Nimeipenda.
Lakini siwezi kapigana sana na nyinyi, sababu mimi nitaanza tu kukua kwanza ile sheng ya Nairobi.
Hiyo ni Kiswahili pia. Hiyo ni Kiswahili.
Yeah, ifanye tu.
Sasa nyinyi wa Tanzania mkitusikia tunaongea hivyo, mnaanza nini?
Kiswahili.
Kuna namna tunaelewa. Unajua kuna namna tunaelewa. Unajua Kiswahili of course kuna Kiswahili fasaha. Hicho Kiswahili fasaha of course waachie wa Tanzania tunaongea Kiswahili fasaha. Umeona? Sasa ukienda Kenya wana Kiswahili yao ambayo wameibadilisha. Ukienda Kongo pia wana Kiswahili yao.
Hiyo yao acha niache hapo.
Muongee sheng kidogo. Nataka nione kama naweza nikaelewa.
Hata mimi siwezi kaelewa, nakwambia hizi sheng za leo mtu anaongea unamwangalia hivi unajua anasema vitu lakini hauwezi hata fikiria ati anasema nini, akianza kukuambia ati kukutranslatea ati mimi naenda wapi. So mimi hapo zile naongea ni zile za outdated. Monatezi mfanye update.
Monatezi kidogo. Monatezi ongea sheng kidogo.
Sheng sasa unajua acha nikwambie shida yangu na kuongea Kiswahili. Mimi nabonga Kiswahili, sina shida na kubonga Kiswahili. Sasa shida ni sasa hizo mafikra sasa nianza kukuja sasa tuanze vile tunaongea sasa Kiswahili, sasa ndio nianze kuongea sasa zile nini useme.
Of course
unajua sana za kufikiria hiyo neno kwa Kiswahili ni gani.
Monatezi. Unajua mimi mwenyewe nipo kama ninyi, kwa sababu unajua nimeishi miaka 9 Korea, na hiyo miaka 9 nilikuwa naongea Kiingereza na nilikuwa najifunza pia Kikorea. Kwa hiyo ufahamu wangu ulikuwa unafikiria Kiingereza alafu unatafsiri kwa Kikorea kuzungumza. Sasa baada ya miaka 9 nimerudi nyumbani, kiukweli ninapata shida sana ikija, yani kwa mfano kama nikitaka kuzungumza kuhusu vitu vya kufikirika. Umeona? Yani kwa mfano kama tunazungumza hii topic na nataka niongee some point hapa. Yani ninashindwa kabisa kuongea. Kabisa ninakwama. ninakwama kwa
Hata
sababu
mimi
kimepotea, lakini of course nakirudisha kwa sababu sasa hivi nimerudi. Of
Ndio.
course lazima tukirudishe. Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Kitukuzwe.
Bana, acha nikwambie, hizi dakika 5 tumekuwa tukiongea Kiswahili, nimekuwa tu nikifikiria hii kitu inaitwa dialect. Nilikuwa naijua kwa Kiswahili inaitwa nini, lakini sasa mpaka nimeanza ku Google.
Umeona?
Sasa Google ndio inatufunza Kiswahili. Mimi najaribu, lakini hakuna mtu wa kuongea naye Kiswahili. Once in a while napata sijui mtu unaongea naye, lakini hata watu wa ushago wanapenda tu kuongea kabila ama kuongea Kizungu, ama wanafikiria uko hapa, kwa nini bado unaongea hizo malugha za nyumbani. Saa zingine napata watu huku, mtu amefika, mimi nimeshakaa huku more than miaka 10, na mtu amekuja huku juzi, ananiwengea, ananiambia hi, how are you, what are you doing? Hey, hebu slow down miss, hizo vitu saa zingine ni bo. Tuongee tu hivi, si ni wa Kenya wawili, ama si watu wa Tanzania hao wako cool, wako poa kabisa, au tutaongea tuongea, lakini wa Kenya wengine mtu anajaribu anyway
Kiingereza ya Kimarekani.
Na mimi nimefurahi. Mkenya tuongee hata katu kuongea kwa zile za nini vile naongea saizi. Tujaribu tu, unajua, tujaribu tu.
Tujaribu tu, kwa sababu hapa ndio tunakikuza Kiswahili, unajua na namna hii inayofanya itawavuta wengine amino wa Tanzania ambao hawaongei Kiingereza, au hata wengine pia watu wa hii region ya Afrika ya Mashariki ambao wanapenda, kwa sababu hizi ni lugha zetu na lazima tuzikuze, lazima tuwe proud na zenyewe, lakini pia lazima pia tujitahidi kuzungumza.
Comment section kama watu wameshaanza kucomplain.
Kuna wako vizuri. Naona bwana Joseph yuko hapa naye anaongea Kiswahili kwenye comment section.
Joseph, nani anaongea swa?
Joseph
ni nani? Okay. Poa kabisa. Okay.
Ni nzuri kweli.
Maria Antoinette anajua kidogo. Not naila kwa nasema tena Maria Antoinette anajua hata ya kidogo. Lakini next time tufanye hivi, kama tunataka kuinvolve watu kidogo, vile wa Amharic wanafanya, hata si tukufanye hivyo na translator. Unajua?
Ni kweli. Kufanya hivyo ni vizuri sana kufanya hivi.
Kidogo 5-minute session, so at least kaa tu si ni Swahili Nation, at least tuongee Kiswahili once in a while, hata ma languages zingine. Kama mtu anataka kuongea language yake, mtu anaweza kuongea na kutranslate at the same time. Unafikiria?
I think I have a better idea. I think that's something that we can do. Like for all this live stream, we can have like few minutes, like 5-minute session of just speaking Swahili, you know what I'm saying? So whatever that is going on, if we have a topic we're talking about, you can talk about that. We finish at the end, maybe we have a 5-minute session of just speaking Swahili, speak Swahili, whether you understand or not, that's okay. But I think in that way, we'll be promoting, what we stand for. Because I mentioned before that the reason why this is Swahili Nation, I said the Swahili, it represents Kiswahili, the Kiswahili language. And Kiswahili is the language that united 121 different tribes in Tanzania. Today we have, and it's because of that Kiswahili language. So when you see this Swahili Nation, I basically mean like one nation, because Kiswahili is what brought all these 121 different tribes to be one nation. Today, if you see the constitution or anyone who is talking here, nobody is talking about tribe, like, I'm this guy, I'm coming from this tribe. No, everybody is just talking about Tanzanians, one people. And so the reason why this is Swahili Nation is one nation. Like literally, that Swahili Nation is one nation, and the vision of Swahili Nation is one Africa. So basically, like Swahili Nation is like one Africa. It's like the other way of saying one nation, and I'm saying one Africa. So that's the reason why I came up with this name, to say Swahili Nation. That's the main reason, to make sure that this Swahili Nation is the tool, is the media, is something that we're going to use to unite Africa and to have one Africa. Just like the way that it happened here in Tanzania, it can happen across the continent of Africa. And we are going to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Nimekubaliana na wewe kaka Mika. Lakini nimetafuta hiyo neno, nimepata ni lahaja. Sasa nasikia
hizo umefikiria au umegoogle?
Mungu sasa Kiswahili.
Umesema lahaja?
Hiyo amegoogle.
Sasa ndio hivyo, lahaja kuna lahaja ya Tanzania na kuna lahaja ya Kenya. Hiyo ndio kitu ilikuwa imeniweka block kwa akili mpaka hata siwezi kumpa neno yote ya Kiswahili juu nimesahau hiyo moja. Ushapatikana na kitu kama hiyo.
Unabaki tu stuck, unaangalia grey wall.
Nadhani sisi tunasema huwa nasema rafudhi. Hiyo lahaja hatutumii kabisa ile jina.
Acha nikwambie ndio maana tunapendanga manyimbo za kutoka Tanzania. Juu nyinyi mnajua hiyo Swahili mpaka hata mkiongea mkiimba warembo wetu wanabambika sana. Hata mimi nabambika na
nasema rafudhi ya Kiswahili.
Ni rafudhi. Sawa. Fadhali sana. Lazima acha nikwambie hata mimi tangu nisikize hawa watu katika UN wakiongea malugha zao na wanaongea na pride, wanaongea hata na si ati hawajui Kiingereza. Wanajua Kiingereza, nimewasikia wakiongea Kiingereza vizuri hata kuliko wengine, lakini wakipeleka mbele ya dunia, wakiwekwa mbele ya dunia wanaongea lugha zao.
Na mimi kengine kwa huyu Chinese official, alafu akaenda alikuwa na meet American diplomat, alafu sasa anaongea Kichina, alafu wana translate, alafu translator akasema kitu aku approve, alafu akamwambia something kwa lugha yao, alafu aka retranslate, alafu sawa watu wakasema kumbe anaongea Kizungu. Huyu mzee alisoma huku, akona sijui ma degree nini, ako very intelligent, ukimsikia elsewhere anaongea Kizungu like perfectly, lakini akasema ana meet mtu lazima achukue hiyo effort kumuunderstand. Si wewe unamuunderstand, yeye ndiye anakuunderstand. So ukikuja na hiyo attitude ati mtu ndiye ana make hiyo effort, si wewe ndio all the time unajifanya nini on the floor. Unajua saa zingine wacha mtu angoje. First of all, ukisema kitu alafu mtu ana translate, inakupatia hiyo time, mtu bado anawanda ati amesema nini. So hiyo ina breaking hiyo thinking. Unakumbuka vile watu walikuwa wale wa preachers walikuwa wanasema ati nini, alafu mtu ana translate into hiyo language. So mtu ana deliver hiyo something into vile what local people wana understand. So ukiforce mtu kutranslate language yako, unamforce sort of kurespect language yako, si ati wewe ndio una concede to terms zake.
Kabisa.
Ndio maana mimi nakubaliana na wewe. Najua wana diplomasia. Ninakwambia. Hawezi kuwa mwanadiplomasia na bila kujua Kiingereza. Hiyo ni kitu tu wote wanajua. Hiyo ni kitu lazima wanajua. Lakini hiyo ukiona mbona wakipelekwa mbele ya dunia lazima wanayo kiburi, na sisi ndio tunajiweka chini. Tunataka kueleweka kwa lugha yao. Unaona? Juu lazima tujue kuna kipawa kwa lugha.
Kabisa.
Kuna nguvu kwa lugha.
Kabisa.
So ndio maana hata mimi nimekuwa nikitaka kubonga Kiswahili. Najua hata huko Kenya kwambie, Kenya ukibonga Kiswahili sanifu unaanza kuchekwa.
Kwa nini unachekwa? Kiswahili sanifu?
Unaona wamezoea kusikiza sheng. Unaona? Sasa ukianza
kucheka, lakini
kuchanganyisha na Kiingereza ama kuichanganyisha na Kiingereza. Ukianza kuongea Kiswahili sanifu, mtu anaanza kucheka ama anaanza
au anakuonea
anakuangalia nikaa wewe ni sijui umetoka wapi, hebu ongea tunisikie.
Au wanakuonea tu wivu kwamba unajua sana Kiswahili, wanakuonea wivu.
Si wivu, si kwa ubaya. Hiyo ni ukweli, sio kwa ubaya. Kuangalia nikaa sijui vibaya ama hostility. Wanakuangalia tu nikaa either uko different, uko strange, ni nini? Kuna
si kawaida
si kawaida, si kawaida, si kwa ubaya, lakini si kawaida.
Itabidi tutume walimu wengi wa Kiswahili sanifu huko Kenya.
Lakini wacha nikwambie, hata kama mtu anaweza kuongea hiyo sanifu, hata ongea kama watu wako, lazima utajifanya nikaa au ijui vile unaijua. Najua hata Watanzania huku walikuwa kawa naongea na Wakenya, wanajifanya nikaa hawajui Kiswahili vizuri. Huku unaona ati mtu kawa wanaongea peke yao, unapita hivyo unaongea zile vitu najua si wa Kenya to understand, alafu tukikuja kuongea na sisi wanaongelea ile Kiswahili ya Kenya, ile lower level. So
niaje
hizo
hii lahaja ya Kenya ama umesema rafudhi ni rafudhi.
Exactly.
Hii rafudhi ya Kenya pia hiyo pia ni rafudhi vile umesema, hiyo ni rafudhi ya Kenya. Lazima pia tuitukuze hata kama si ile Kiswahili sanifu ama si ile Swahili yenye tunafunzwa kwa kitabu. Lakini pia language pia lugha unaendelea. Pia lugha ina nini? Sitaki kutoka kwa Kiswahili niingie Kiingereza. Nimekataa kutoka kwa Kiswahili niingie. Lakini maendeleo, kitu nasema ni maendeleo. Lazima hata lugha pia inapatikana pia inakuwa na maendeleo, na kuna maneno zingine zinaongezwa kwa lugha, na kuna jinsi venye maneno venye zilikuwa za kitambo zinabadilishwa, zina nini,
zinapindushwa.
Sitoki kwa Kiswahili,
zinapindushwa,
zinapinduliwa, lakini unajua pia hizo ndio vijana hufanya. Unajua
ni kweli.
Sasa lazima pia waache wa vijana waendeleshe hiyo lugha ndio iendelee, isikufe. Pia lugha ukikaa nayo, hata Kiingereza imebadilishwa, si Kiingereza inaongelewa siku hizi, si ile Kiingereza ya miaka 100 iliyopita.
Tulikuwa tunaongea Kiingereza ya King James version, ila sasa tuna new translation.
Tumkaribishe mgeni yenyewe, tumkaribishe mgeni.
Okay, tuna mgeni hapa. Okay, we have a guest. We have Josie the teacher. Hey man, how are you? Can you speak Swahili?
I'm beginning. I started a day before attending Swahili online, you know.
Really?
So I started because I need it.
That's beautiful.
I studied, you know, at the very beginning. Do you remember when we raised the issue of language to be used as official of One Africa? And I commented that I don't think it is right time to raise about the issue of language. Time is coming, and we have a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to deal with, and that was what I was saying. And then before that, genuinely speaking, I don't know this much about Kiswahili. And then immediately after we discussed that session, after that platform, I went to different websites and looked at this language, Kiswahili, that means. And then it is overwhelmingly used in Africa, and I was convinced that it's right to make one official language for Africa, because you mentioned few countries that use, but it is overwhelmingly used throughout the world, we can say. And maybe it's not this much less than other international language, and even maybe that may be preceded by English and Arabic, and next to that I'm sure that will be the third language as to the current current usage. And so I decided to attend lessons, but it took me a while to get a good channel to learn, and I've already started with from 2 nations, part 101 and other structural teachers. I got 2 structural teachers and 1 communicative teacher, and I've already started. That is where I give from, and that is what I've already started. And I took a lesson for a single contact hour. That means for 50 minutes, and then I've already organized and doing that. And so, in short, for Kiswahili, I'm a beginner. I can greet, and I can introduce, and I can ask for greetings, something like that, and I can gratify, saying Kwame, Kamwe, and that is all I can do with it. But when you speak, it is interesting, it is interesting to have such platform on which African language is flourishing. Not only Swahili, if even other, we haven't blocked anyone who wants to share his ideas, provided that it is to develop, to promote one Africa. That was what we have been doing, and for this, we all are witnesses. Biggie has been making efforts in translating Amharic, and I've already tried my best to translate Afan Oromo, and we have been making that. We have no hatred attitude to any language, but we shall prefer the one which is best for the time, What that means, for what the time needs, And so that's what I want to say, and really it's good. And I entered because the comment section became silenced, and I wanted you just with respect give chances to other participants also. It's nice. I like it. That others should also take part. Look at the comment section, and just few are participating, and so it's good to have such conversation, and then just try to make the balance. I don't know your program for today. I'm just coming just now, and I waited outside, and even I tried to enforce other Kiswahili users, but no one came. I said Habari, I greeted Tanzan. I think she's Tanzan. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, I just saw your message, and
I greeted you just to elicit the communication also outside there on the comment section, and so it's good. Yeah,
firstly,
that
let
is
me apologize.
No apology.
No, I feel bad, firstly because we neglected the comment section, and we just got carried away with the language. We forgot about everybody else. So
Tanzan, nina furaha kukutana na wewe.
Kumbe wewe uko kwa lugha hapa na unakazana na hii lugha ya ukoloni.
Rika.
Uko vizuri.
I've run out of
Man, you're good.
Oh, pole to everybody means sorry. Pole sana.
Tanzan. I saw Niliona Yosef. I saw Yosef a while ago, and I mentioned it, and I even replied to him. You shouldn't be sorry for speaking, Swahili. What kind of story is that?
Okay, no, okay, this is why I say it, because it comes from a place of understanding. You know, when Sister Deborah is here and I'm waiting, I hear her speaking and speaking and speaking, and he said, I want to know what she is saying. And then our brother Reed comes in and translates one sentence. I'm like, no, it wasn't one sentence. There was 20 things stayed in there that you're not letting us hear. So no.
Hakuna shida. Hata nikwambie mimi hata nimekataa kutoka kwa hii lugha ya Kiswahili. Wacha mtu mwingine atanitasfiri vile
Umekataa.
mwingine atatasfiri vile Bigi utasfiri mwanadada wetu anaitwa Deborah. Na museme nimeongea na hekima.
No, Tanzan will translate for us today. Tanzan will.
Hapana, nimekataa.
No. Na mimi nataka kuongea Kiswahili.
Wewe ndio utatafsiri. Sababu wewe ndio unaongea hiyo Swahili ya ndani sanifu. Na unajua lugha 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, Tanzan, you try. Jaribu. Kujaribu sio kushindwa. Tunao msemo wa Kiswahili unasema kujaribu sio kushindwa. How can you translate that? Kujaribu sio kushindwa.
To try is not to be defeated.
Come on, look at that.
Ndio sasa. Kumbe unajua.
Unajua?
Hiyo ni moja tu.
Kama unaelewa nikiongea.
Msinieke pressure.
Kama unaelewa unaweza tafsiri.
Sija train.
Yaani kama unaelewa unaweza kutafsiri, kama unaelewa tunachokizungumza.
Zingine unaweza kuelewa alafu aujui hiyo neno, unajaribu kuipata huku na huku.
Sasa hapo sana unajua shida za Bigi pia ndio tunamuelewa ndugu yetu.
Kweli.
Tanzania wewe tafsiri. Tumempata mtafsiri wa Kiswahili kwenda Kiingereza.
Hamjampata huku. Hako huko mbali na mimi.
we have our sister Chrissy here. Anasema bravo teacher Josie, step by step you'll be fluent very soon.
True.
Our sister Chrissy anaongea pia Kiswahili vizuri kabisa. Pia tuna vizuri kabisa. Pia tuna Nana Dreams. Maybe Chrissy unaweza unaweza comment kwa Kiswahili pia. We have Nana Dreams.
Yeye.
Hata Chris unaweza ukaja pia na wewe pia hapa tukazungumza kidogo.
Utuburudishe na Kiswahili yako sanifu. Lazima
utuburudishe. Nimeipenda hiyo. Man, I love Swahili, man. I love Swahili.
Okay, let me tell the rest. Okay, finish reading the comments and then I'll tell you guys a story about coffee.
Okay. Nana Dreams anasema Kenyans should vote for who has the country best interest at heart. Nana Dreams ni kaka yetu anayetokea Ghana. Unaweza kutafsiri hiyo Tanzania. Nana Dreams ni kaka yetu anayetokea Ghana.
Nana Dreams is our brother from Ghana.
Yes, na tunampenda sana.
And we love him very much.
Na Dreams si mwanamke.
No, ni brother nadhani.
Najua sababu hata hiyo jina ili ni confuse ni nini sasa? Confuse ni nini? Ilichanganyisha kidogo hata mimi.
Okay. Ilinichanganya. Yes. Very close.
Tumeweka lahaja ya Kikenya, rafudi ya Kikenya.
Lahaja. Acha kuifuatilia Google inadanganya wakati mwingine.
Wanadanganya kabisa. Utaongea ile Kiswahili hodgepodge. Okay, pole. Continue.
Okay, Tanzania, unaweza kutuambia hiyo story yako?
Okay, sawa kidogo. Okay, so ni ngumu kuswitch sasa kutoka Mwendatezi amenipatia hiyo ugonjwa yake. Sasa siwezi kuongea.
Kuna shida.
Amenipatia mimi pia.
Wakutafuta tafsiri.
Mwendatezi ya kizungu.
Mwendatezi atafsiri.
Okay, tafsiri. Sasa Kofi Olomide, si unamjua ule musician alikuja Kenya. Alikuja wa Kongo, alikuja Kenya. Sasa watu wakaenda kumuona, alienda Kisumu, watu wako excited hizo vitu. Alafu sasa wanajaribu kuongea naye, kumwambia vile wanapenda music yake na hizo vitu zote. Alafu sasa unajua yeye anaongea nini? Anaongea French na Lingala. Alafu akaangalia watu akasema na wasikilia huruma kabisa, ati hao watu hawezi hata kuongea Lingala, ati wamezaliwa hata ongea Lingala. Sasa kasikia anatusikilia vibaya sisi wa Kenya, ati hatuwezi kuongea Lingala. Na unajua hivi sasa ndio nasikilia watu saizi au watu hawezi kuongea Kiswahili, hawezi kufahamu Kiswahili. So hiyo kila mtu siku moja tutaongea tutaongea Kiswahili, si wote.
Hapa tunawatia asila ile wakajifunza Kiswahili.
Watajifunza.
Mwenda Tezi, unaweza ukatranslate hiyo?
Ngoja nione.
Nilikuwa nimejibamba na katika hii kieneo ya Kiswahili, lakini wacha nijaribu juu sasa, lakini nikibonga na hii lugha ya Kiingereza haitakuwa natural. Wacha lakini nitasema tu. Our sister Tanzania was talking about the musician from Congo called Kofi Olomide. That he embarked on Kenya and dada.
His mind is in Swahili.
Aliwasili Kenya. Lakini kitu naweza kuuliza, si ndugu zetu Kongo wanabonga kwa Kiswahili, si wana tena Kiswahili. Nimewasikia
wa Kongo wa Bukavu wanapiga sana Kiswahili. Bukavu huko karibia na Kigoma huko Tanzania wanaongea sana Kiswahili.
Ndio maana nimewasikia wakiongea, na hiyo ni sanifu sana, na hata kuliko hata hiyo.
Okay, mimi wale nilipata pengine sababu niseme hivyo, lakini nilisema hiyo Kiswahili ya Kongo ni kani language nyingine wamemix na Kiswahili. Ilikuwa different kabisa kutoka ile Kiswahili nimezoea nayo. So bado naweza
pia wana rafudha yao, lakini
ndio
nikwambie, ndio maana kuna mtandao, ndio maana tumejipata hapa kwa mtandao, na nimeona hata Kenya na Tanzania tukiendelea. Nimeona siku hizi hata nikiingia katika mtandao huko
Google
app sijui inaitwa nini Kiswahili, labda utaniambia, lakini hiyo app ya Twitter nimeona sasa hata hizi maendeleo za Tanzania zinakuja hapa mimi hapa Mkenya nazipata, na napata hata hizi maendeleo za Kenya pia nimeona wa Tanzania wanaipata. Nikawa wanatuweka sisi kikundi cha Afrika Mashariki tumewekwa kwa kikundi kimoja katika hiyo mtandao. Sasa tunaongea na kila mtu, tunawasiliana na so naona sasa tutapata lahaja mpya. Rafudhi mpya ya Kiafrika Mashariki yenye sasa sote tunaelewana. Vile nimeona hata sisi hata huku Kenya Kiswahili ya Mombasa haikuwa sawa na Swahili ya Nairobi.
Lakini ya Mombasa ni karibu na ya Tanzania, si ndio?
Lakini sasa siku hizi kumebadilika. Siku hizi zinafanana sana na Nairobi, na Nairobi pia imepunguka sana. Kitambo hiyo rafudhi ya Nairobi ilikuwa na Kiingereza mingi
kabisa,
lakini siku hizi nimeona Kiingereza nimepunguka kwa hiyo rafudhi ya Nairobi, na Mombasa pia imeanza kukaribia Nairobi, na Nairobi imeanza kukaribia Mombasa. Na naona hiyo ndio mfano naona East Africa, Afrika Mashariki naona tukiendea hiyo kitu. Tukiona tu nimeona hii mtandao inatupeleka pamoja. Naona hata sasa hizi sisi ni wa Kenya na wa Tanzania na ndugu yetu kutoka Ethiopia Naona hata yeye akishika hiyo Kiswahili tutakuwa
sasa umemfukuza.
Hapana, ni sawa tu, mbona wenyewe wakati mwingine wao wanaongea Kiethiopia hapa hadi tunashangaa.
Bwana
hii ni mara ya kwanza, unajua ni mara ya kwanza tunafanya hivi. Hata
najua ndio najaribu kuambia watu si ati tuliplan ati leo tutafanya nini alienate na isolate watu wetu. Ni tu mkianza kuongea lugha mnaongea tu mnaendelea tu nikaa river inaitwaje ile ina flow tu, unaona
ina nini inaitwa chemchem ya maji
hiyo hiyo chemchem hiyo ni kama kuandika insha
spring
ndio chemchem inaenda tu chemchem
lakini pia tufunze river ni gani pia. Nimeanza acha tujue hizi maneno hapa
river
mto na mtaro ni nini?
Mtaro it's a tunnel, like ni kama tunnel ambayo mtaro, yani mtaro wa maji, ile mitaro ya maji ya machafu. For example, you have like all this like it's like a tunnel.
Ni maji chafu. Mtaro ni maji chafu. Okay. Na mto sasa ndio maji safi. Sawa. Sasa maji safi inaenda mto inaenda chemchem.
Chemchem is a spring.
Pole. Na inaenda kuflow ni nini? Mto?
Flow yani mto ni kama kuflow, yani unamaanisha nini? Flow unamaanisha nini?
Mto vile inaenda. Maybe hakuna
like maji ni kama hivi mto unatiririka, like maji yanatiririka
ndio. Kama hizo times za insha, unajua insha ilikuwa ngumu kuandika. Nilikuwa na
hapo tulikuwa tunajua Kiswahili. Hiyo ndio kitu mimi nakwambia. Sasa hizi ukiuliza Mkenya mwenye sasa hizi yuko shule, ametoka shule ama bado yuko shule, anaweza kuongelesha Kiswahili nyingine sanifu sana. Unajua? Ni tukienda sasa kituo cha kikuu hapo sasa tunaanza kusahau. Tunaanza kubongeshwa na lugha ya Kiingereza. Tunaanza kuingia hii mambo ya sheng na nini. Lakini huko tulipokuwa shule ya upili.
Nakumbuka hata zile nini
misemo. Tulikuwa tunaongea misemo na methali.
Misemo methali, lakini nasema zile kudebate kwa TV. Unakumbuka vile watu walikuwa na debate na Kiswahili? Alafu nasema ati mto ati watu kucross ati akuje mwendo wa aste, alafu unapatia topic, alafu mna debate about it in Kiswahili.
Alafu nikiongea mandugu zangu na wadada zangu nilikuwa nauliza hizi, unajua of late nimekuwa nikifikiria pia tusipotukuza hizi lugha zetu, hii lugha yetu na ya Kiswahili, unajua inakuanga na hekima nyingi. Hizi methali sasa nikizifikiria hatufai kuzisahau.
Kabisa Mwendetezo anavyosema, yani hizo methali hizo ni zile ambazo ziliandikwa na wazee wetu ambao wamejawa na hekima kweli, na ukisoma yani kwa mfano ukisikia labda kidole kimoja akivunji chawa, umeona au
na kitu mtu anaweza kuandika kwa nini, mtu anaandika paragraphs na books na sijui nini, mtu mmoja anaweza kusema hiyo kitu na sentence moja hivi, anasema tu moja. Unajua hiyo ni summary ya life lesson, ya experience, ya kuangalia watu, kufikiria hizo vitu zote, alafu naeka concision mpaka inakuwa tu gem hivi kikadogo kama diamond imeshakuwa pressure mpaka hapo ka kitu kadogo. Unajua vile hiyo ni genius, sababu mtu anaweza kuandika saa zingine, hata mimi naongea vitu mob alafu mtu anakuambia tu summary, alafu nasema hiyo ni ukweli, unajua. So hata hiyo ni genius. Alafu hata vile methali inaandikwa, si ati mtu anasema tu ati ukwae mtu mzuri. Ni lazima iko na ka style, unajua muende hivi ile ngumu kabisa. Sijui siku you understand for the longest time ati mtaka cha mvunguni sharti ainame.
Exactly.
Wow. Sijui.
Hekima ya wahenga tunatupa aje wahenga? Tunawasahau.
Yaani inabidi ndio maana inabidi hizi methali hizi labda kila siku tunafanya hivi tu, tunafundishana methali moja. Nadhani hiyo itakuwa ni nzuri. Kwenye ile 5 minutes of Swahili tunafundishana tu methali moja and what does it mean, the Swahili methali. Kwa mfano hiyo ndio sema mtaka cha uvunguni sharti ainame. Man, that's
by the way, good to acknowledge once in a while Nana ni mwanamke.
Mimi nilikuwa najua maana ni mwanamke. Nyinyi mmemsahau.
Mimi nilisema hivyo.
I've always thought Nana is a guy. Always. I don't know why. So I'm really sorry, Nana.
And me, I thought I heard that Nana was I heard there was a guy called Nana. Maybe I confused. Okay.
Lakini hata hiyo jina hata hiyo jina unaweza isahau hata ukisoma hiyo jina. Hiyo
Okay, sawa. Mimi yo nitablame nani Mika. Yeye ndiye alisema hivyo, mislead, so mimi misfollow.
Mwenda tezi. We have another person here saying ngeno pia naona ana comment sana Kiswahili.
Okay.
Wapi ya ngeno karibu sana. Na bwana Mwendetezi, ninapanga kwenda Kenya, lakini nitakapokuja Kenya sitakwambia, nitakusurprise.
Sawa.
Utashangaa tu nipo Kenya, nipo sijui Nairobi sijui. Wapi? Nimeshafika. Takacha uvunguni sharti ainame.
Alafu ningesema ni dada yetu ngeno ina matamshi si ngeno, ni
ngeno. Ngeno ingekuwa na
apostrophe. Ngeno ni nge.
No.
Lakini hakuna apostrophe.
Sikiliza Mwendetezi, haina apostrophe. Ikiwa na apostrophe ndio ni ngeno. Hii haina apostrophe, kwa hiyo ni ngeno.
Lakini ni jina ya Kiafrika. Sawa,
lakini kama ngoja niko naenda kufikiria na imenikujia tu hapo. Ngoja ni NGOJA, so ni
lakini hiyo si jina.
Lazima ikuwe jina. Hiyo rule ina apply. Okay.
Hapa mtandao labda uandike jina lako.
Mwendetezi anasema hii sio jina, ile ni jina la mtu. Naona kaandika ngeno. Unaona hili? Mwendetezi, angalia hii sasa, hii ndio ngeno. Hii hapa ni ngeno. Ila hii ni ngeno. Ila hii hapa ni ngeno. Ngeno tuambie. Okay. Amebadilisha mwenye, amejisemea hivi mwenye, anasema ni ngeno.
Si nakwambia mimi najua hiyo jina.
Okay, basi
hapana, lakini yes, yeye hajasema. Amesema pole. Okay, amesema ngeno. Basi aongeze apostrophe kwenye jina lake. Aongeze ndio sasa tunajua, lakini
kwa mtandao hizi unajua angekuwa anaandika labda kwa ripoti angeandika na hiyo, lakini sasa mtandaoni hakuna sheria,
hakuna apostrophe online.
Hakuna mtandaoni, hakuna masheria nyingi. Yeye amekuja tu ameandika jina lake,
amekuja sawa.
Lakini mimi najua jina nyingi sana za Kiafrika. Sasa ndio maana nimeipata hiyo jina na nikajua vile inatamshwa ni ngeno.
Sawa.
Amefurahi kweli leo.
Ameshinda. Leo ameshinda.
Acha nikwambie, mimi kitu nimefurahi ni kubonga kwa hii lugha ya Kiswahili. Sasa
hata hivi
nasikia
watu vibaya, lakini nasikia vizuri.
Tanzania wewe ndio wa kutranslate. Wewe una translate tunachozungumza.
Hapana.
Kama unajisikia vibaya, wewe una translate ili
Sasa
watu waelewe.
sasa translator ni mtu anajua hiyo lugha vizuri, unajua anaijua ndani na nje na mashariki. Mimi hata sijui ati zile tulikuwa tunapata kushoto na kupi hiyo na guess tu.
Ngoja nikwambie siri. Mimi siri yangu kubwa ya kujua Kikorea ni kwa sababu nilianza kutafsiri hata nilipokuwa sijui. Yaani nilipokuwa najifunza Kikorea, unakutana na Wakorea wanasema kwamba tunahitaji mtu wa kutafsiri na tutampa pesa. Nilikuwa naenda japokuwa sijui. Naenda kutranslate. Umeona, kwa sababu wanapoongea naelewa, kama naelewa basi naweza nikatranslate as long as ninaelewa wanachokisema. Kwa
kuna courage inaitwaje? Kuna
courage ni hiyo ni nani nyingi sana. I mean nyingi sana. It's a good question. Courage ni kama nataka niseme msimamo, ila msimamo inaenda kwenye stand.
Unajua kwenda tuka kitu, unajua boldly, unajua
ujasiri.
Ujasiri, sababu kama hata ujue ati mtu anaenda kusema nini, sasa ukipatwa hivyo una hiyo grey wall, hiyo inaenda tu. Unajua vile saa zingine akili inaenda tu iko hapo lakini haiko, unasema lakini hakuna sauti inatoka. Hiyo naogopa kabisa, lakini
usijali, hamna mtu anayekuona, tunakusikiliza tu. Hiyo inabidi ikupe ujasiri.
Ujasiri.
Ila nimefurahi sana kwa sababu Mwendetezi amekuwepo tokea zamani, anajua kwamba yani hajawahi kuongea kabisa Kiswahili kabisa.
Ndio.
Yani mimi nimekuwa najitahidi siongei kabisa, nimekuwa nasema hapana, kuna watu wengi, kuna watu wafahamu Kiswahili, atuzungumzi. Na watu wamekuwa wanani criticize sana. Nasema unaweza kujua Kiswahili au ongea Kiswahili. Sasa mimi nawaambia watu, nasema jamani, okay sawa, ni Swahili Nation, lakini sasa hii message ya kujifunza Kiswahili siwezi nikaongea Kiswahili kwa Tanzania au Kenya kwa sababu wanaelewa Kiswahili.
Na kama nikiongea Kiswahili sio wa Tanzania na wa Kenya peke yao. Na hata kuna watu milioni ngapi? 200.
Ni wengi sana.
Ni wengi kabisa. Unajua vile Tanzania ni kubwa. I think nyinyi mko double sisi. So
hapo kwa 60.
Sisi tuko milioni 60.
Peke yake.
Tuko milioni 60.
Na vile nchi yenu ni kubwa geographically yenyewe, mimi niko na
nchi ni kubwa, hawajaijaza vizuri bado, lakini wanang'ang'ana.
Nchi ni kubwa sana, ila watu wajazaliana sana.
Mmeshindwa kujaza nchi.
Sisi sio wa Nigeria.
Wanajaribu.
Ila unajua Magufuli alivyokuja, Magufuli aliwaambia watu
tupatie kalan Kenya kadogo tuwasaidie. Tutaijaza.
Magufuli, nakumbuka Magufuli alisema watu wanataka
aliwaambia watu kwamba mzaliane, tuna ardhi kubwa na elimu ni bure, hebu mzaliane sana. Alihamasisha sana watu wazaliane. Kwa hiyo hii sensa inayokuja nadhani population itakuwa imeongezeka sana.
Hiyo hatuna shida, na kama mko nayo importini Nigeria watajaza nchi.
wako.
Okay guys, right now for those who don't understand, we are talking about the population in Tanzania, and I think we're just making a lot of jokes here that we should bring some Kenyans or we should bring some Nigerians to Tanzania to actually fill Tanzania.
Tanzania has a large country and they don't know how to fill it up. So we were giving them suggestions about how to fill them up. So they can either give us a bit of their land so we can fill it up with Kenyans, or they can import Nigerians who will come fill it up in a very short amount of time.
We need to open our borders, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A large country, small population.
Yes. Jozi amerudi tena. Jozi.
Karibu Jozi.
Karibu sana. Watu ongea Kiswahili tu. Karibu sana.
Karibu is welcome. So that's
I know.
Okay,
Karibu,
okay.
welcome,
Yes.
Karibu.
Okay, so get us back on the on the English
Asante.
track.
Asante, I say.
Asante.
Jose anaongea Kiswahili. Wow.
Anajaribu. You're trying. You're trying.
Oh.
Nashukuru.
Mhm.
Nashukuru.
Wow.
Ndio. Sisi pia tunashukuru.
Nashukuru the why is that?
Tumia mtandao ndugu.
Unafikiri atajua mtandao ni nini?
Hivyo ndio tunajifunza hapa pia.
Nadhani natumia mtandao. Yeah, we are learning. Mwendatezi is telling you to use your network, your internet.
I feel so bad for people today. Like if they tuned into our show.
Kama ukumbuki neno, tumia mtandao ujifunze. Ndio utaitumia hapa kule. Unajua ukitumia mtandao unajifunza alafu unakuja hapa kuitumia. Utawaisahau.
Guys, what is happening here is apparently Mundatezi can't speak English right now. So I'll try to translate. But he's telling Mr. Josie to use Mika, what is mtandao in English?
In his internet.
His internet himself. Yeah, mtandao. Now you know.
How come he knows?
Hey. Ask questions you're not prepared to hear the answer.
Ngeno ameuliza swali hapa. Amesema siasa ya Tanzania.
Yeah.
Hapa ameandika siasa ya Tanzania. Okay, I believe in Tanzania. Siasa ya Tanzania inalingana namna gani na ya ile ya Kenya? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's translate. Okay, I'll try now just because I feel bad for some people in the comment section. So Ngeno is asking, how do the politics of Tanzania connect, I think, with those of Kenya? Sasa answer. Somebody.
Mi naweza jaribu.
Okay. Mwendatezi is going to try.
Naona siasa ya Afrika Mashariki zinafanana sana, si ngumu sana. Na ni juu tumejaribu kuungana na majaribio bado zinaendelea.
They are very similar. Ngoja. They are the politics are very similar because we have tried to unite both countries.
Niendelee sasa?
Ndio.
Sawa. Hata ukiona majeshi zote za Afrika Mashariki, unajuanga nilikuja kugundua ndugu
amerudi.
Ukiangalia majeshi za Afrika Mashariki, utatambua kuwa zote zinabonga Kiswahili. Kwenda kutoka Rwanda mpaka Uganda mpaka Tanzania hata Burundi, zote zinabonga kwa lugha ya Kiswahili.
Yes. So if you even look at the military and the armed forces of both countries, Kenya, in East Africa, you can see that all of them speak Kiswahili as the common language, so they can communicate easily.
Ndio maana ukiona hebu ngoja nikumbuke vizuri. Ni kawaida kuona hata majeshi, hata ni juzi waliungana katika nchi ya Uganda, majeshi zote za Afrika Mashariki waliungana Uganda kupiga tizi.
Hiyo sasa sijui kwaje. Okay. Nafanya vile nani Bigi anafanyanga atajifanya tu ati hiyo akusikia. Sema.
We tafsiri vile iko tu hivi, kitafsiri itaeleweka. Unajua saa hizi Kiswahili inachekesha, lakini ukitafsiri Kiingereza itaeleweka.
Sasa kama kufanya tizi, hiyo ni kufanya nini?
Kwa Kiingereza ni kupiga tizi ni?
Hiyo sijui. Mimi hata sijui ni na Kiswahili ni nini.
Tizi Kiswahili, Kiingereza tizi hujui?
Kiswahili ndo tizi sijui. Tizi ni nini?
Hujui tizi? Exercise.
Oh, okay. Military exercise. Okay. Nilikuwa nafikiria nini kufanya war, kuambush, kufanya na hiyo nini sababu nilikuwa nafikiria ati sababu recently unajua Uganda waliingia Congo alafu wali invade, so nilikuwa nafikiria hiyo ndio tuli unite kufanya, so at least okay, sawa. So unaona uzuri ya kuconsult before kutranslate. Vile nilikwambia na ule China wanasema hauja translate hivyo vizuri, so mi niliulize first before niko sure, sababu ningeweza kusema vitu zingine hazija happen alafu nimesema tisa all of a sudden Uganda wame invade sijui wapi. Okay, so hizi ni regular tu, hizi ni si vitu za vita, si ndio?
Si vita, lakini ni tizi walikuwa napiga, vita.
Okay. Nilikuwa nafikiria tizi nikaa kupiga vita, lakini wameshaanza. Okay, wacha ni translate kidogo nijaribu. Okay. Kuswitch ni ngumu kabisa.
Hata Mika amenirekebisha, ni mazoezi. Unajua sasa hiyo ndio maana nakwambia hii ni rafudhi ya Kenya tunatumianga. Sasa ni mazoezi.
Okay, sawa, ungesema mazoezi.
Kupiga tizi.
Hebu mtu aache kuniroast hapa kana nataka kukuja online akuje. Okay, so Mwendatezi says, so the armed forces of all countries have been working together, even in terms of both communications, as we said, they both speak the same language, but also in military exercises.
Ebu ni mute. Ndio ongea. Wacha nicheke kisiri.
Sawa. Okay, sawa. Okay. So even recently in the East African country of Uganda, they have been having joint military exercises with countries from other East African countries, including Kenya and Tanzania. So the relationship between both the politics and the military has been one of a convivial nature. Yes. So Mwendatezi, you can come back on and continue, or I can give the mic to our guest.
Wacha nimalize na kusema hata katika mazishi ya mzee Pombe Magufuli.
Yes.
Kila waongozi, kila viongozi katika nchi zote za Afrika Mashariki na mpaka hata Mozambique walibonga katika lugha ya Kiswahili. Hapo ndo nikajua hii lugha si lugha tu yetu ya Kenya na Tanzania, hii ni lugha imetembea.
Haya. So even at the funeral of the late great John Magufuli, all the African heads of state spoke in Kiswahili, and that's when it showed you that this language, Kiswahili, is not just the language for Kenya and Tanzania, but it's a language that has traveled, very far across the continent. Ndio, continue.
Sasa nimewachia kaka yangu Jose pia amenyamaza sana. Wacha yeye pia tumpe nafasi.
Our brother Josie, thank you. You have been quiet and patient. Let's give you the opportunity to speak. Brother Josie? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice to meet
okay.
you.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes.
I think the topic of discussion is for Kenyan issue, particularly on election of 2022. And, you know, all Africans know what to do, where to do, what is needed. Not what they want, but what is needed to be done. The problem there is only lack of cooperations. What I want to say here is,
Sorry, it's you're going a bit in and out.
intruders
Go
most
ahead.
often
Sorry, brother Josie, you're it's a bit hard to hear. If you can hear us, it's a bit I can't hear from my end. I don't know about Mondatezi.
they see.
Oh, okay, you're back.
Okay, so sometimes they act as if they have divine power or divine privilege to be head of this Africa, you know, as Christ has the right on church, or as husbands have their own privilege to be head of their home. They act like that. So not only Kenyans, whenever some issue or some domestic concern is being or carried out within a country of Africa, all Africans should watch out. And the rest domestic issue should be left for the beholders, the Kenyans, because they can deal with their domestic issues, and if they want help, if they want assistance or any other support, anyone, any foreign should know that Kenyans have 53 siblings, brothers and sisters.
Thank you for that.
These 53 siblings are more than enough, more than excess to cope up with any challenge, any problem, and to solve. When I say so, I don't mean that we have to ignore others. We can live without others. No, all are our brothers, our sisters, but privacy is just private. You can enter or intrude into someone's privacy if you are offered, if you are only invited. And that is what is to be known. Kenyans should know this. Africans also should be aware of this. Actually, it is not like the former Africans. Now we are awakened. We have already woke up. So there is no problem for this, but we should be alerted on such issue. Because many elections became mess because of intruding hands from foreigners. And so this should be known. So Afri, now it is this the privilege and the bright future, the career to the bright future is just in hand of Kenyans, not in anyone's hand. And so they can make decision. It is up to Kenyans to be determined and do what is needed to be done. And that is what I want to say. As far as educated person should be, a person needed to be elected, they know that. And so any candidate first introduces his curriculums, policies, and so forth and so forth. they can hear, they can see. And so it is up to them to choose what they believe is better for Kenya. And that is what. And we should, as Africans, other African leaders should safeguard, should watch out, just allied with Kenyans, just from intruding hands. Now, you know, when I say so, and I don't need to explain everything.
I know.
Yeah. That is what is needed to be watched out. And that is what I want to say. I don't know what is to be done. I can't say Kenyans should do this, Kenyans, because just my horizon of knowledge cannot reach there to decide what to be, whom to choose, and which party, and what is to be done. This is privacy of Kenyans as a country. And then the rest is what I've already said. I don't want to repeat. And that you want, please, and try to make awareness, give awareness as much as possible in any social media. So, including guns are poisonous. And behold that the location of Kenya, because it is not this much far from Somalia, and they are located on healthy position. It is sweet position, and everyone wants to dominate or make a focal point that country. And so we need to be aware of things, and so we should deal with our domestic issues just by our own. And as I said so far, if support is needed, if consulting is needed, and other things, let's try. We are again other 53 siblings, and nothing I think would be beyond collective effort of those 53 siblings, and is what I want to say. And you can continue, please. It is sweet. It is yummy. You were using, even though I don't understand. I know some words. I know some words when you say salama or nini, wewe. I've already come across it. And some words even. You said at last, higher. Higher? Okay to me, I think.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal word. You know, if you see, like as Kiswahili shares some words, some expressions from Arabic word, the same does Afan Oromo. And Siasa, Kitaba, you know, same thing. And so, I'm sure, and it is very easy to learn this language. I've come across some expressions, and so I don't think it will be difficult. And I'll try all my best to communicate with you, Tanzan. and you do, I hope after 3 or 4 months, you can't speak in 3 or 4 with Mika. I'll be one of the users of Kiswahili. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Jealousy. Take it as jealousy, okay? Brotherly jealousy.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. You
Yes,
know, I was thinking the other day, you know, we don't value ourselves enough, you know. Sometimes that is why we look to other people, you know, other people from outside, you know, we all know, to value us. But sometimes what it takes is, you know, for us to value each other, you know. And Mika has set that example, you know, just with his love for Ethiopia. When you know, there is, you know, self-love, like as he said, you know, Ethiopians love themselves. But when you see somebody who just comes and loves your culture for no other reason than it's your culture, it's African, you're my brother, you know, that is just makes you feel so much better that you don't need to seek that approval from outside. We have what we all need from each other. You know, if we want that love, that respect, that even sometimes if you don't get it from your own people, because sometimes that happens too. You know, there are people who, like they say, a prophet is not loved in his town, but maybe he might go to another town and be loved. You know, so, you know, we shouldn't go outside for some of the things that we can give to each other. And for people who don't like themselves, try to find another African culture or country that you like. If you don't like the division in your country, find another country where there's unity. If you don't like the desert in your country, find another country where there are forests. You know, if you don't like whatever it is, there is a place in Africa where you will love and people will love you. And don't be afraid to look around and open your heart and eyes. So yes, thank you so much, brother.
Let me make 2 points only. 2 points. I have 2 points on this. Yeah. You know, may I continue, Mika?
Oh yes, I'm quiet. I'm listening.
Yeah. You know, according to our tradition, not only Oromo tradition or Ethiopian tradition, it is this African tradition. There is meditation. When you want meditation, you invite the old man from your locality, and then tell them the issue, and then they cooperate in 3, 4, 5, 6, but should be above 3, and then make the meditation, and then makes harmony. So is there no old man in Africa for meditation? Why do they go further? That is my question most of the time. And another issue I want to raise is simply like a simile. I sometimes face students who erase the right answer and cheat the wrong one from another student, thinking that the student is better than him. But if he does by his own or her own, she might get. So please, it's enough. Gaddafi is erased, and the wrong one has come. And so such thing should be enough for us. Such picture come to me when I look at how African leaders related to foreign countries. Just the relation, the diplomacy is good. It's good to have a win-win relation, no problem. But if Africans can solve, let's deal with Africa. And with the 53, if it becomes beyond the capacity of our 53 siblings, let's go ahead and then go to our other relatives. So how can we hide our siblings and tell our secrets to aliens? I'm sorry to say so. And that is what sometimes surprised me more than disappointing. That is what I want to say. And so that is what is needed, not only for Kenyans, all Africans should know this. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being
Asante sana.
Asante sana, Josie.
Asante sana.
Guys, mnaonaje kwa leo tuishie hapa au mnataka tuendelee kuzungumza?
Tumeongea kabisa, tumeongea, lakini naona ati tumalize hapa.
Kweli.
Kiswahili inatuburudisha hapa.
Lakini fikiria watu wengine. Kani sisi tu tunaweza kuendelea mpaka asubuhi ama mchana. Lakini sasa unajua kuna watu hapo wanaanza kusikia vitu vibaya kabisa. Wivu.
Kuna kitu kama hiyo.
Wanamaliza
wanaelewa. Hata angalia
subscribe ama inaitwaje? Hiyo. Nimefurahi. Nasikia vibaya lakini nimefurahi. Sikufikiria tunaenda tu full scale hivyo, like Kiswahili tunainua tu watu hivyo, lakini
okay. Najifunza sana. Unajua hata watu wenzetu wenyewe wakiwaga wanaenda kwenye lugha zao. Yaani wanaenda,
lakini hawajazoea. Kama wewe Mika, sijawahi kukusikia kwa unaongeanga Kiswahili. Hiyo ni
Yeah.
Kenya kabisa. Ongeanga. Si tunaombe ongeanga.
Hiyo ni rafudhi ya Kikenya.
Unajua by the way, tezi. Unajua ile tunayosema kupiga tizi. Hata hapa tunasema piga tizi. Hatusemi really, tusemi tunaenda kufanya mazoezi. Tunasema tunaenda kupiga tizi.
Mimi siwezi kufikiria hiyo.
Fasaha ndio nasema kufanya mazoezi, lakini tunatumia tunaenda kupiga tizi.
Basi wewe.
Uko right.
Basi nilikuwa poa na sawa unaona. Lakini hata mimi
nilikuwa nacheka kweli kwa sababu nilikuwa niko behind the scene. Alafu nikawa nashindwa kuingia, nikasema you guys just laughed, that was beautiful.
This session tumecheka tu like half of it. Nikucheka mtu anasikia tu kama wanaongea alafu wanacheka, wanacheka na wanati kwani tuko serious. Topic serious kabisa na wanasikia tu ati.
Acha nikwambie hii kitu imenibamba, imenitekerenya sana hii lugha mpaka nimeona ni lazima tujiamini. Hata unaangalia vile tunaongea sasa kama tunajiamini sana. Unajua hii ukiongea hii lugha nyingine ya ukoloni hutawahi ongea vizuri kuliko wewe mkoloni, unaona? Mpaka sasa lazima tu already unaingia kama hujajiamini. Huwezi jiamini kama vile mwenye mkoloni anaiongelesha. Unaona? Hata saizi ameigeuza aongee vile inafaa kuongea. Wameigeuza hata ukienda huko kwa wapi huko.
Na acha nikwambie hata kama unaweza kuongea vizuri kualiko, bado hawatakuangalia ati unajua unaongea vizuri. Wanakuona tu nikao umecram kabisa, alafu umetrain, alafu nikao uko trained monkey. Umechukua kitu lakini unaweza, lakini so what? Unajua, ndio sasa huku saa zingine Waafrika wanakuja huku, alafu the first thing wanaanza kufanya ni kusahau lugha yao, wanasahau. Sasa mimi nikirudi nyumbani, mtu ananiuliza, bado unaongea lugha? Bado hujasahau hata Kiswahili? Siongeangi Kiswahili mob sana sababu huku hakuna mtu wa kuongea na, lakini lugha yangu naongeanga na family. Kaka sisi wote ni wa lugha moja tunaongea. So alafu kuna Wakenya pia tunaongea nao Kiswahili saa zingine. Lakini mtu anafikia ati ukishatoka huku ati kitu moja ya kwanza ni kusahau lugha yako. Na wauliza TV, mzungu akikuja Afrika, hata kikaa hapo, hata watoto wake wakazali huku, utasikia kama mwingine ati anaongea na accent ya Muafrika. Ati sai all of a sudden amesahau Kizungu ama Netherlands ama nini ama hata wao wa South Africans bado mpaka saizi wanaongea lugha yao hiyo, sijui ati ati Africans. Anyway, ni Dutch tu lakini bado wanaita hivyo, lakini hawajasahau lugha yao. So sisi tunawezaje kwenda kwa watu wengine alafu tunajaribu kusahau lugha yetu, tunajaribu kuongea kao? Tutaongea lugha yao lakini si lazima tuongee kama hao, na si lazima tusahau lugha yetu.
Kitu umebonga ukweli sana. Hata nimeona kwa lazima nidalan maana comment section kwa Kiswahili ni nini. Hebu
hiyo hata siwezi kufikiria saa hizi. Siwezi, hata hakuna kitu inakuja. Hiyo
ni kipande acha niseme ni kipande cha maoni. Hapo kwa kipande cha
okay. Vizuri kabisa. Kipande
hapo kwa kipande cha maoni nimeona dada anaitwa Deborah Walters. Sijui kama ni yule Deborah tunamjua
Sijui siko sure sababu vile imeandikwa iko different kidogo. Ule anaandikanga na I na huyu ameandika na E, so siko sure.
Lakini hizo majina mbili Walters ni yake bado.
Ni yake? Okay, sawa.
Mimi anakuuliza si eti najua.
Sijui hata mimi.
Sawa. Lakini ningesema natuma salama kwake.
Hata mimi
ningesema hata pia natuma asante kwa kaka wetu hapa Mika. Ametugeuzia hapa tumebonga lugha.
Ndio, ametuacha tu
paka tumetekerenywa tukacheka. Paka
unakuja nyumba ya mtu alafu unachukua remote.
Lakini jina la channel kwa Kiswahili ni nini?
Ati?
Tan.
Ati?
Chaneli. Jina la chaneli jina la chaneli ni Swahili Nation.
Swahili.
Sasa kubonga Kiswahili, mtu hata nashuku ni wateja walikuja hapa wakidhani watu watabonga Kiswahili na wakaona hata hatubongi Kiswahili wakatoka. Mimi najua huwezi jua. Unajua juu hii jina yenyewe inasema wengi hata unawajua Mika. Juu hata mimi nakumbuka hapa kwa kipande cha maoni kuna mandugu wetu hapo kwa tu Tanzania wakisema wakijaribu kufuatana na maoni hapa kwa panel, lakini pia wana comment kwa Kiswahili. Sasa nimeona labda wanang'ang'ana pia na hii Kiingereza. So hata saizi nimeona hata mimi nikubaliana na wewe hata kama ni dakika 5 tukipata tunaongea Kiswahili. Uweze jua hata unaweza mpata, unajua vile saa zingine tunaongea na tunapata mtu kutoka hata Afrika huko kusini ama Afrika hizi kipande. Unaweza pata hata unapata mteja kutoka wapi? Kutoka Kongo.
Nilipata huko.
Ameitwa amepata kuna Kiswahili na tumepata ameona Afrika moja. Hebu na tunaweza, unajua uwezi jua hii lugha.
Pengine tufanye hivi, tukwae na vipindi za Kizungu za kila mtu, alafu tukwae na zingine za Kiswahili pengine zile
kwa hiyo
alafu zile za Kizungu tukianza kama kusalimiana, kila mtu anaweza kusalimiana na lugha yake. Sasa kama kuna watu jana kulikuwa na Msomali, nilimuuliza tie na Kisomali wanasalimaje. I think aliniambia watu asiwezi kukumbuka saa hizi, lakini aliniambia. So tunaweza kusalimiana tu hivyo, alafu tumalize, alafu tu continue na Kizungu. Alafu pengine tunaweza kuwa na ingine ya ama tuseme kwa heri na malugha, ama kusalimiana, ama kusema kwa heri. Either one tunaweza kufanya, lakini tu kuanza kusikia malugha zetu kuongea. Unajua vile nasema about Sister Deborah, unajua unasikia alafu unasema ni interesting kusikia, sababu kila siku hata ukiona TV unasikia unasikia kufikiria tu na kizungu. So kusikia vile mtu anasema vitu hata kama huwezi kuelewa ati anasema nini. Ndio sababu tulitoa si leo, lakini tutafanya nyingine ya muziki. Vile tulikuwa huko Afrika, unajua tunasikia muziki nyingine hata hatujui wanasema nini. Vile tulikuwa tunasema na Lingala na hizi muziki za South Africa, na huku hata Cameroon tulikuwa tunasikia muziki zao, lakini auelewi ati huyu mtu anasema nini, anaimba nini, lakini unajua ati unaisikia tu. Alafu so si lazima tuelewe kila kitu kila saa, lakini ni mzuri kusikia tu hiyo vile nini. Hata saa hizi kuna watu wa saa hizi hawajui hata tunasema nini, na wamekaa tu hapo wanasikia.
I think for that, I think that's a good idea. And I'm saying this because I want Josie to understand as well. Josie, you're hearing me?
I'm
Josie,
hearing. Yeah.
Josie,
my mic.
Are you in touch with Deborah? You know Deborah, the lady who always speak in
of course
your language. You're speaking with her.
I can see her on Facebook when I visit my Facebook page, but I don't this much use FB, but I can get it.
Yeah, because Deborah, I don't know if you guys know Deborah, but she has always very interesting, points, and Josie, he always, try to translate. So I was asking you for this, just in case if you guys, you can have as well your own session sometimes, in that language, to talk about the matters of Africa, you know what I'm saying? Like particularly the matter of Africa, because I cannot understand what you're saying, but That's why I'm saying if you and her
mm,
like together, you can actually have a session in that language. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
To
mm,
to promote One Africa in that way, I think it will be amazing. And
Mhm.
now we are talking about Swahili as well. Tanzan, she was suggesting that, and I think it's a great idea. Tanzan, Mwenda
Mhm.
Tez, if you guys want to have a session like that in Swahili, you guys just let me know,
mm,
because we want to keep this I mean this Swahili nation moving. Like the dream is to have like 24 hours live stream. So if you
mm,
guys you want to have that and you want to talk that, you want to address that in Swahili, you let me know. I can give you session. You guys, you can actually just take over and spend maybe 2 hours or 1 hour, however you wanna do it in that session, and you
mm,
want to talk about a particular thing. You can have
mm.
your own show to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I wanna.
okay, I'll inform you. The problem is I use this YouTube channel,
Mm,
uh, not to use YouTube, my own channel, but to support such uh, channels that I feel have good idea, good uh, positive outlooks toward this humanity, and particularly for Africa. That is my aim. And I don't have this much issue to be used on YouTube. Simply, I visit different channels, and then I go to them, and then I make reaction. I may support or reject them. That is what I've been doing so far, and I will try all my best. All my best. I will do it. Actually, I do have my own channel, and I will inform you when I get ready. I have channel,
Oh yeah.
but I didn't post anything.
Mm.
I tried to share some aspects of reading skills to students, because nowadays uh, our people are not reading even their academics, let alone other books. And so different authors have gave up writing different books, as you know, so far. What role the books of Chino Achebe played in changing outlooks in Nigeria, and others are also there. And so, if they don't have readers, they stop writing. And so, before materials, before infrastructures, before other resources, idea, idea has a changing power. And those ideas, thoughts, wisdoms can be shared, particularly via what you call literature. And to promote that, I started saying something, but uh, it needs time, to reach audience. And so I will tell you when I get ready, and then we can share, Mika. Thank you very much
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
commenting
yeah. No
that.
worries. And
Mm,
definite, definite. And Tanzan and Mwenda Tez, I think this is the time for us to promote Swahili, as we say. So you guys, you can also my number. If you guys you want to have session in Swahili, you want to talk about particular
mm,
thing, can definitely do that. We can definitely talk about that. And even right now, I mean, it's you guys are heading towards the election, and maybe there's a kind of topics you want to be talking about, Kenya, and connecting it as well, to the whole continent Africa, because whatever that happens in Kenya, it affects us all. You know what I'm saying, whether positive or negative. So, you guys feel free. You just let me know. If you want to have a session, I would love to have as many sessions as we can in Swahili and all those stuff. So if you want to start something, you can definitely start that, and we can keep promoting. And always the beginning is not easy, but eventually people will come, will join, and we get used to it, and will support. So feel free, if you have those ideas, just share with me, and then we can start right away. We don't
Thank
just
you,
have just
Mika.
you see that
Thank you.
you see Pastor Ezra, he does a lot of session, and he has been finding some people to talk to. So that's amazing. We can have more of Pastor Ezra, or more of me out there that can host anytime, any day, yeah, any day of your convenient as well.
And one of these days, we might just have all three of you guys on the panel.
Exactly. I would love that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We
4,
start up
5, and everybody. Yeah, and maybe some of the people who are on the comment section might get the ujasiri to come on.
You know what? You know
Right?
what? We should definitely start with that. Because we know at 9 p.m. is like specifically we have all this, like, the normal live stream that we always do. But we can find another time that three of us and anybody else can come and meet, and we can do like just fully in Swahili. This could be like, it can be a Swahili session to do.
Yeah. For me,
Yeah.
the one thing, you remember the original bond I had to pick with Mondatezi, and that was, I told Pastor Ezra remembers this, I'm sure. But it was an old topic, I think one time we were talking about, and it was the whole thing about bride price. And the reason why that came up again is because I think one of the countries in Africa said that it was the law that it was going to be made. So that was going to be an interesting bond to pick. But yeah, we'll figure something out for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, by the way, hizo vitu tukiongea kwa Kiswahili pia inaleta, it brings the essence of Africa with it. When you talk about bride price in Kiswahili, and we talk about that, some of the, it will be very
Lobola.
interesting to see. Yeah?
Ni kweli.
It will be very interesting
Rurisho.
to see. Yeah.
The time is now. Yeah. Let's do it, guys. I'll reach out to you guys and then decide the time of the
Yes.
day that we can just do that, and we just go in Swahili from beginning to the end. And I think that also will help to draw a lot of Tanzanians to the channel, and Kenyans, and Congolese, and some other parts of Africa that we need them to be engaged as well. That's beautiful. It's done. Let's do it.
All right. Okay.
Mika,
Yeah.
I hope you've got rid of your Kiswahili, because you have been too much trusty to speak Kiswahili, because you've been surrounded by Amharic, Afano, Oromo, Anuak, and
He's going to
dominated
forget.
English. Yeah. Now,
Yeah. That's why we're going to start a Swahili session here, just to remind myself.
yeah. No,
But Brother Josie, we'd also like to support you too. So, whenever you launch a channel, or, however it goes, just let us know, and, we'll be there. So,
I
yes.
will inform you. I will come
Thank you.
and tell you to subscribe to my
We
channel.
will do
I
so.
will tell you. I'll inform you.
Yes.
But I should get ready. Mika knows some points. I don't want to raise publicly here, because everything is politicized in my locality, and it would have been good if there are just few political outlooks, but many political outlooks, and all of them want to be supported. And you can't support two political outlooks at once. You are a single person, and many problems are there. And so, they want you to be the promoter, and that is what I see on FB accounts. Some do not know anything about C, but they are forced, and to get acceptance from C, they promote C. And then when they get problem, even the many could not protect themselves, they become vulnerable and got some problems. So I need to take care, and then I would like to first prepare lessons, rational lessons that help students particularly, and then in a piecemeal, we go to what we have said in that way about African issue. You know, do you know that I raise issue of one Africa to many of my friends, and you know, it's shame to tell such things actually. Many of them, how come you talk about unity of Africa? Even Ethiopia is not united at this time. Oromia is blah 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 blah. In such situations, you know, things become difficult, and you may be in danger, you know, and that is so. It needs preparation, Mika. I'm willing.
Yeah.
As to my willing, Africa is chanted 24 hours a day, 30 days a month, and 365 days a year. That is my, and it can be if we share. If we share channel, and you are alone, only Pastor Israel help you sometimes. And if we share such things, we can dominate, you know, the whole channel, we can say, if we do like that, if we share. So that is my wish, and I will sleep on it. I'll think, and then we'll see what future brings. And yes, I have channel. I'll share you my channel if you want, if you can. And I hope you can see that right now where my channel is, what it looks like. I have, and so I don't have, but I shared nothing. I think there was a single video on reading aspect, on relevance of reading, and to promote reading only. And that is the only live stream I made. But since then, I raised the video, and for the time being, it is mute. And so when things become convenient, that means in a meanwhile, I hope we'll be ready and we'll start cooperatively working together on the unity of Africa. And that is my dream. And that is, as I told you, what I want to die for, really. So we'll get ready and we'll share. So anyway, I hope God help us in all aspects, since this is a good thing, a good deed. Since it is humanity, I hope God help us in all aspects, and we will begin in near future, That is all I can say, Mika. The reason why I muted channel, I didn't share anything, any music, any song, anything, is just for the matter I already mentioned. And after all, we shall begin. I hope the time is coming very soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, asante sana. You're welcome.
Yeah. Kamwe or Karibu? Which one is right?
Karibu.
Karibu.
Yes.
Okay.
Karibu.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I got
Okay.
2 things. Continue.
Okay, guys. Basi nadhani that will be it for today. Na kwa sababu mimi ni very action oriented, nimeshatengeneza group ya kwetu sisi.
Already. Hey, multitasker.
Kwenye group itabidi to decide muda gani tufanye. Kwa mfano hizi nani zetu tunaanza 3 usiku, kwa hiyo sisi tunaweza tukaanza labda saa 1 au saa 2, labda tukawa na session labda ya saa 1 ya Kiswahili tu, unajua kwa siku kadhaa ambazo tutachagua, au tunaweza tukaanza na yani vyovyote vitakavyotafuta naweza tukaanza. Na mimi pia nita keep up with that. Yani wakati mwingine unaweza kukuta kwamba labda mwendetezi hayupo au Tanzania hayupo, kama mpo basi naendelea tu, au kama sisi tupo tena unaweza ukaendelea, si unajua ni Swahili session, na itakuwa ni vizuri sana. Nadhani itawavuta wengi sana wa pande za huku, wale ambao Watanzania wengi wanajua wamesaulika na Waswahili wengi, ila sasa tunawakumbuka. Kwa hiyo Yeah, nimeshatengeneza hiyo na kwa hiyo tunaweza tuka brainstorm na ile group tutaongea Kiswahili tu. Okay?
Ndio.
Hapo tukuongea kwa Kiswahili. Maana hata
so Mwendatezi Google.
Hata yeye kila mtu, mimi nakwambia mimi kama hujui uenda utafute kwa mtandao utafute hiyo neno alafu uitumie, lakini hakuna mambo ya kuchanganya nini Kiingereza na Kiswahili. Usichafue hiyo Kiswahili.
Usichafue kabisa. Na idea nadhani itakuwa ni vizuri kama ikiwa labda saa 1 hadi saa 2, ili kwamba kuanzia saa 2 hadi saa 3 kuna mapumziko kidogo kabla hatujaanza session ya English ya saa 3 kwa siku ambazo tutakuwa tumechagua. Hiyo nadhani itakaa vizuri. Yani tunaanza kama hivi, ila baadaye unaweza kutampa mbadilika tena, sinajua. Na baadaye mambo yakibadilika unaweza kuta Mwendatezi yeye ana session yake Tanzania, ukitaka pia unakuwa na session yako na vitu kama hivyo.
Mimi ni co-host.
Nataka kutafuta wengine hapa Tanzania wenye moyo wa wana Afrika ambao labda wanaongea Kiswahili tu, yani labda mtu ambaye anaweza akapata session yake naye pia akahost akafanya. Unajua ni vitu
kabisa.
Alafu
eventually unajua sasa umeshaanza kufanya mtu aanze kufikiria sasa hata niache, lakini eventually tunaweza kufanya hata hybrid. Tunaweza kufanya ya English na Swahili. Tunaweza kufanya mtu anaweza kutranslate, ama tunaweza kufunza watu Kiswahili kidogo ama whatever. Wale watu wako interested in kujua Kiswahili wanaweza kukuja, alafu tunaweza kuwasaidia kidogo.
Of course watakuwa na join hiyo session. Wale watu wenye interested na hiyo Swahili
kutakuwa ya pure speakers, wale wanajua already atu need ku translate, alafu kutakuwa na wale introduction hivi wale wanataka kujua.
Exactly. Nimeona hapo ni poa, tukue hiyo first service na second service hivyo.
Usually first service is always in English, but here first service is gonna be in Swahili.
Sawa.
Tunapiga hadi maombi Kiswahili unajua kabla ya kuanza.
Hata nilikuwa nasema hivyo siku moja, nilikuwa na mbona maombi ziko Kiingereza, mbona tusiombe Kiswahili?
Kwenye hiyo session tutakuwa tunapiga Kiswahili, ni Kiswahili mwanzo mwisho. In Tanzania tunasema Swahili mwa mwi. Mwa mwi mwanzo mwisho, kwa hiyo mwa mwi.
Good night guys.
Thank you.
Mwema, usiku mwema.
Tunane tena.
Tutaonana.
Lala salama.
Lala salama.
Lala salama, yeah.
Haya, kwaheri. Kwaheri is goodbye.
Yeah. Kwaheri, mimi leo
kidogo tutawafunza. Tutawafunza Kiswahili hata kama wataki kujua. Wanataka kujua.
Yo guys, nyinyi mtapendekeza siku ambazo mnakuwa mpo vizuri ili tufanye kuanzia hiyo saa 1 mpaka saa 2. Kwa hiyo yani right away tunaanza wiki hii. Kwa hiyo siku zote ambazo mtapendekeza sitaanza. Yani ukisema labda tufanye siku 2 kwa wiki, hizo siku 2 tutafanya. Au tufanye hizi kwa kulingana na ratiba zenu. Kwa hiyo nimeshatengeneza group, mtaniambia kwenye group.
Sawa.
Alafu nitatengeneza announcement, nitashare kwenye social medias, alafu tutaanza moja kwa moja.
Sawa.
Sawa.
Okay. Vizuri. Haya. Mwendatezi. Unaweza ukaomba kwa Kiswahili?
Okay, tusikie.
Naweza jaribu, lakini sasa unajua shida ya kuomba ni ukisahau neno. Sasa nitasimama nisimamishe maombi
ukijaribu kupata neno. Ukitafuta neno.
Jukumu wangu.
Mungu anajua moyo wako na anakusikiliza kutoka moyoni. Kwa hiyo hata usiposema Mungu atakuelewa.
Sasa hata wacha nijaribu, maana nikose kujaribu.
Yeah, kabisa.
Kwani wewe ni mwanamke?
Kumbe unafuatilia maeneo za Kenya
kidogo. Haya, sawa.
Acha nijaribu kuomba. Itakuwa fupi juu naona sitakuwa na maneno mengi, bado tunajaribu.
Usijali.
Sawa.
Usijali kabisa.
Bwana, katika jina la Yesu tunatuma asante zetu. Tunasema asante kwa kutufungulia macho, kutupea lugha yetu yenye tunadai kuitukuza. Asante kwa Swahili Nation, asante kwa Afrika moja, asante kwa mandugu zangu hapa na dada zangu. Asante kwa uhai, na asante kwa kila kitu yenye umetutendekezea. Tunaomba uzidi kutuunganisha sisi watu wako wa Afrika. Tuendelee na umoja, na katika nchi yetu ya Kenya siasa ziwe safi, watu bado tukue na umoja, hata baada ya kura na hata kabla ya kura. Naomba hizi vita zenye zinapatikana huko eneo za Afrika na pia dunia, Mola uziangalie, uangalie watu wako huko, wasife. Asante. Wacha ni na katika jina la Yesu, amen.
Amen. Amina. Wow. Come on, man. Vizuri sana.
Karibu nianze Google vitu hapo.
Unataka uanze kunena kwa lugha.
Nipambane nayo kidogo hapo, lakini
lakini hiyo ndio mwendo, ninaenda kwa mwendo wangu upesi tu. Tuone
wahenga wanasema polepole ndio mwendo.
Ndio.
Uko vizuri mwenda tezi.
Ndio. Haya basi, tutafanya mipango alafu tutaanza kazi.
Kabisa, kazi moja kwa moja. Ninyi
hapa kazi tu.
Hapa kazi tu. Mnipe tu majibu, kwa sababu hata mzee alikuwa anakikuza sana Kiswahili. Kwa hiyo ninyi mnipe tu majibu. Baada ya kunipa majibu wiki inaanza. Nitakuwa natengeneza post sasa hivi kwa ajili ya hilo jambo.
Haya. Sawa kabisa.
Asante ndugu zangu
Ndio.
Kwa heri. Siku mwema na mchana mwema kwako.
Tukate sasa. Asante sana. Haya, tukate. Nani ataenda kwanza? 1, 2.
Nini muondoke kwanza?
Sawa.
Guys,
haya. 1, 2, 3. Nimeondoka.
Hey, all right, guys. Let me just say this: that this is the end of our session today, and I know maybe some of you guys do not understand or didn't understand what we're talking about, but we're gonna come up with the Swahili session, so that this session from 9 p.m. we will be using the English language so that everybody can understand us. But we are coming up with another session that will be using pure Swahili from beginning to the end, because we want our people to We want to learn our own languages and we want to understand our own languages. And Swahili is one of the most spoken languages in Africa. And so we'll have that session to draw our brothers and sisters from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Congo, from all these different countries that are speaking Swahili, and those Swahili speakers around the world, to draw them again with us, to be here with us, because we understand there's a lot of people who do not understand the language you're using right now. So we're going to come up with the Swahili session. I thank God that finally we're going to come up with that. So for those who are interested in Swahili language, definitely I will be sharing the post in the coming days, very soon, to let you know when are we going to have Swahili sessions. And the time, basically, it will be 7 p.m. East African time all the way to 8 p.m. East African time. So that if we have that session for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half, and then we'll have like 30 minutes of break, and then at 9 p.m. we are starting our English session that we always have. So for those who will be interested, that want to learn and all this kind of stuff, then you can join the Swahili session. It will be pure Swahili from beginning to the end. And I'm very excited for that, because for that, maybe we can even have different guests from different places that we can invite, and people who are speaking Swahili, to just interview them and talk to them, ask them different questions. And everything is all about Afrika Moja. Afrika Moja is one Africa. It's all about that. In Swahili, we say umoja ni nguvu, tengano ni udhaifu. The unity is power and separation is weakness. So that's what we're going to be emphasizing on. And you guys, you'll be part of that. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry for those who didn't understand us today, because we used Swahili for like more than an hour. If you were lost some reason, no, we're just building one another. And as you all know, that is the first time for actually even me here to use Swahili. It's the first time. The first time. So it was a beautiful day. And I want to appreciate Josie, who came here to join, even though he didn't understand much. I want to appreciate you guys in the comment section. I want to appreciate Mwenda Tezi, who all of a sudden he forgot English, and the only thing he remembered was Swahili. And I want to appreciate Tanzan for an amazing discussion that we had today about Kenya and everything. So yeah, guys, this is the end of today, and I cannot wait to see you guys next time. I love you guys so much, and stay tuned for Swahili live stream very soon. Appreciate, guys.